the first episode of Darkwing and Bars Go Live. That's just something I just came up with off the top of my head because we haven't come up with a name yet. We also have Jay Styles joining us whenever he can. But tonight we are interviewing a young independent wrestler. His name is D'Angelo. He is on the indie scenes. I talked to him a little bit, and he pretty much just had his start in the international game up there in Canada. So I'm excited to get him on. It was Panda, Jiu-Jitsu Panda, for y'all that don't know. He's the one that put me in bars on this guy. I started watching some of his videos. I started watching some of his videos, and he looks pretty legit. I don't know if you watched any bars.
Yeah, he reminds me of he reminds me of a bunch of people actually. Um when I look at his in ring persona, um it seems like he's cut from like the cloth of like a D'Angelo De Niro or the Pope. Um Also I see a little bit of Cedric Alexander in his repertoire. Um, I see a bunch of people actually. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like what he does in his in ring move set and whatever, it's very unique. Very unique. You know, I think I watched like
Yeah,
maybe 3 matches from him. You know what I mean? So very very unique. So I'm anxious, to just ask him a lot of questions. You know what I mean? See where his head is at as far as like today's wrestling and things of that nature. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, is I haven't been able to talk to Jay Styles. Have you talked to him?
I believe I sent him a text. I don't know if he got it, but I believe I sent him a text. But I definitely been sending him stuff. He's gonna get an alert seeing that you're online, so he's probably gonna tap in
Okay.
most
So,
likely.
Ladybug, is this gonna be just like oh, Angel's in here too. Ladybug and Angel, is this gonna be like it was last week when I interviewed Conscious, me and Bars, and hopefully Jay Styles. We're gonna interview this independent wrestler, and then afterwards, if anybody wants to come up and ask their questions to him, they'll be more than welcome to. But in the meantime, y'all share and like the live for us, man. Let's get us out there. I need to get me another light. Hold on, bro.
Mhm.
Ball, soccer, anything with a ball, and I've been wrestling for 2.5 years now. Uh, I mean, that's as simple as it gets. I was in college when I made the decision to start wrestling. I was sitting in my dorm room playing 2K, and my boy came in and he was like, "Bro, you spend more time on this wrestling game than you do doing anything else. Like, you should just go be a wrestler. Like, quit football and go be a wrestler." And we laughed it off. And I was like, "Man, what if I did that for real?" You feel me? So I Googled pro wrestling near me, and there was a school like 10 minutes away. So I pulled up, and the rest is history.
Go ahead, Bars.
Yo, that is what's up. That is what's up. It's funny because like a lot of athletes, that that really didn't start off like was born and bred in the wrestling business, they have this passion, for wrestling. You understand what I'm saying? And what happens is they see something out there and they like, I could do this. And they end up doing it and they end up being successful at it. You know what I mean? And I've seen it happen so many times that, wrestlers like yourself just like they visualize it happening and it actually happens just like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next 2 years we see you on our television as I watch Raw right now. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? So salute to you, because I know it's not a hard task to make a transition like that, neither.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. It was hard, but once I locked in and like got over the mental block, man, like the physical part of wrestling, like it became easy. And like, nah, I definitely like the plan is to make it a TV, and I feel like I'm on the right track. Like I know it's all about like who you know, and like it's a matter of hope. But man, like to have done everything I've done in the last 2 years, like there's no way that I'm not destined for more. You feel me?
Well, I definitely see it. By watching some of your film and stuff like that, I definitely see it, and I'm definitely hoping to see you on TV soon. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like just to know that you're gonna have that opportunity to reach and inspire other athletes like yourself to like get into this professional wrestling because believe it or not you are influenced now. Like you went from one sport to another, and you are influenced now. So now
Oh
there's
yeah.
gonna be people just like you that's gonna be watching, and they're gonna say, "Oh well, I had dreams of becoming a wrestler, so I could probably do it too." You know what I mean? So salute to you, man. Like I said, like it's a great thing to see that.
100%.
So
100%.
so tell us how playing those different sports has intertwined itself into your pro wrestling career.
With I would say with football being like my main sport and the sport that I like thrived in, uh, football and wrestling are very similar. That's why you see a lot of football players come into wrestling and they end up being really good because a lot of the fundamentals and a lot of the footwork are ironically the same. And I mean, like, I guess the explosive nature of like that stop and go is not just a full sprint. Like, you have to move with the flow of the match the same way you got to move with the flow of the game when you're playing football. So I feel like that has really helped. And then, like, I think back to when I was playing ball, like, when the crowd was hot, everybody was making plays. Like, you feed off of that. And, like, being able to translate that on into wrestling, like, I took something that I always like knew mentally in real life, and I implemented in the world of wrestling now. So I feel like that's giving me the advantage. I feel like as a football player, like we all have that mindset of like anything we do in the ring cannot look weak because like we've been out here hitting each other for real, and if you get in the ring and your stuff looks sloppy, then you got people coming back like, "Oh, I thought you were this hot shot football player. I thought football players were aggressive." You know what I'm saying? So I feel like every football player in their mind, like everything I do has to be aggressive. Everything I do has to be crisp, explosive. Like when people ask me what my wrestling style is, like I'm not one to say like, "Oh, I'm a technician or I'm a luchador or a high flyer." Like my style is explosive because everything I do is explosive. It's over the top. Like that's just I do the extra mile to get the reaction out of people.
Explain to us the similarities of being on a football field, like here in the crowd, and in the ring here in the crowd. What are the similarities and what are the differences, if there are any?
Um, I feel like the only difference really is like if we're the away team and we're showing out and the crowd's booing, I'm not playing to the crowd. Like I'm focused on the game. Versus when I'm in the ring, if I'm the heel and the crowd's booing, I'm playing into that crowd. My job is to piss you off even more now. I'm not really worried about the assignment, so to say. I'm just worried about getting on your nerves, which makes sense. Uh, but I mean, all around, I feel like the crowd work is the same. Like you feed off of the energy. Like people think that the physical aspect of wrestling is the important part, but it's not, because your moves don't matter at the end of the day. Because you can go out there and the biggest thing you do is a body slam, but if you can connect the crowd, you're good. You can make money. Like I didn't like I know like a lot of people hyped up this debut in Canada, but like I watched the match back maybe 20 times now, and it happened 2 days ago. And man, I didn't do nothing out of the ordinary, but I went out there and I reacted with the crowd, and that's all I needed to do. Like once I got the crowd behind me, I hit maybe three big things. Like I hit a handspring cutter, I hit a code red, and I hit a shotgun drop kick. Those are my three go-to spots in the match, and that's all I hit. But man, the reaction that the crowd gave me and the chance that they started, that was all just from working them. I didn't have to do anything insane to get that. So the moves don't matter. Like when you play off of the crowd and you play off of their energy and match their energy, that's all day.
Trying to get our other co-host Jay Styles up too. Oh, he's in there. What's up, Jay Styles? Go ahead, introduce yourself to Mr. D'Angelo.
What's going on, D'Angelo? Yeah, I'm Jake Styles, wrestling extraordinary professor um, of the wrestling world on TikTok. So,
Sure.
a lot of guys like BARZ and Darkwing, they look to me to share some insight to old school stuff and mix it into the new school stuff.
I love that. I love that for sure.
So, Jay, D'Angelo is an independent wrestler. He recently just made his debut internationally in Canada. So he was just going over some of the similarities between the sports he's played, which is mainly football and pro wrestling, and how working the crowds working to your favor in both sports. So, if you have any questions for him, go ahead.
I can I can see the similarities growing up in the times where a lot of pro football players from the AFL before the merger in the '72, how they crossed over to professional wrestling, like your Chief Wahoo McDaniel, your Ernie the Big Cat Ladd, Hacksaw Butch Reeves of the world, your who else was real famous that crossed over during that time period in which I grew up on, the '70s, '80s style wrestling that made that transition. I can't. It's a handful. But
Steve Mungo
football and
McMichael.
pro wrestling,
Steve Mungo McMichael transition
yeah,
from
but that's
football.
that's more modern.
Farouk.
I'm talking about old school ball, old school cat.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean wrestling and football go hand in hand. To be honest with you, D'Angelo. I mean the fact that um there's a lot of similarities there. When you look at yourself as an indies wrestler and you see guys that trained or went to wrestling schools like yourself that have either high school or collegiate background in playing football, do you sometimes feel a little intimidated if you don't have that same athleticism as them?
I mean, I wouldn't see it as necessarily like an intimidation thing, because I know like a lot of guys that I train with, they did like amateur wrestling in school. And I guess at first it was kind of like weird to me because I never did amateur wrestling. Never. Like it was during basketball season. And then like when they did freestyle, it was during soccer season. So I was always playing another sport. But I don't feel like that took away from what I could do in the ring. Because like it's good to have some kind of background. Like I feel like as long as you have a background in something, in some kind of physical sport, you'll be fine. Uh I don't think necessarily like pinpoint it down to, oh, if you didn't play football, then you're not gonna directly correlate, because like some people just naturally get wrestling and some people don't, and
Do
it
you
also
feel that
comes down to having good training. So if you have good training, then it doesn't matter where you come from. Like you could be. I've watched guys who were not, or guys and girls who were not athletes whatsoever, come in and become phenomenal wrestlers.
cool, cool. So do you feel that the camaraderie in the locker room of professional wrestling is similar to what might be in football. As far as in football, they say the camaraderie of brotherhood is on a different level than any other sport. And I played basketball. I've never played organized football a day in my life. So I don't know how true that is or isn't when it comes to football and wrestling, so to speak.
Well, I mean, I play football at the collegiate level, and I played 2 years of arena football as well. And honestly, I would say that the camaraderie in a wrestling locker room is unmatched. I mean, especially like I think my favorite locker room that I've been in so far is when I wrestled for Major League Wrestling, and I was the dark match, and I mean like the main event was like Matt Riddle and like Dijak or whoever, and just being in that locker room with those guys that have that TV experience and like we're on a smaller TV product and they're all like laughing and talking, but they're also like all the younger guys on the card, like they all sat down and watched the dark matches, which it surprised me because I was like, man, these guys, I didn't think these guys would be paying us no attention. Like we're the pre-show match, but like they had so much feedback and like so many critiques and like they were willing to be open and like pick our brains, so to say. Like we're picking their brains, of course, because they're the vets, but like them just going out of their way to like help uplift the younger talent. Like that stood out to me, and like that's something that I'm grateful for, and that's something that I've implemented at the indie shows that I work. So I mean, I don't see myself as a vet whatsoever, but there are a lot of shows that I go to nowadays where people will come to me after the match and be like, "Hey, like you got any tips or like did you see anything or." And vice versa. Like I'm big on like peer review. So if something look bad to a peer, I'll be like, hey, let me know. You feel me? So I feel like you made the locker room what you wanted to be. Now there's shows where you go in the locker room, there's guys there to themselves. There's guys that have their little egos, which I don't understand why you have an ego in professional wrestling outside of the ring. But for the most part, most of the locker rooms that I'm in, the camaraderie is what it needs to be. Like everybody's leaning on each other, and like at the end of the day, we're all putting on a show, so we have to work together. This is a live performance. It's a physical performance, but it is a live performance. So we all have to work together. Every match flows together. Like shows that are properly booked the way they are, so that at the end of the night, a common goal is reached. So
What do you feel? What do you feel? Um, in today's wrestling, whether it's indies or the three big promos here in the U.S. What do you what do you feel is the things that stand out the most outside of work ethic? For professional wrestling from in the indies to the bigger promotions, if you will. Transition from a different sport with their athletic skill set. In it being coached in that particular sport versus in pro wrestling, you're not. Once you get on the television program, there's not the same type of level of coaching you have when you play an organized team sport. So, what do you see the differences there as far as in the indies and like WWE, TNA, and AEW? As far as that part of the coaching aspect, if you will.
actually, um, well, for myself, I mean, when I was in Canada, I the show that I was on was produced by a TNA producer, Cody Deaner, and then a buddy of mine. I don't know if y'all been watching WWE Evolve, but Sean Legacy, he and I trained together, and he's wrestling at NXT tomorrow night. Matter of fact, but the coaching there is on a
Hey,
different.
I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. Hey, Bars and Jay, y'all run the live. I forgot I gotta go move my work truck so my wife can go to work.
Okay, all right, we got you.
Word. But yeah, my boy Sean, he's been down at the WWE Performance Center, and like he said that the coaching is far more intense than anything that he's dealt with, like wrestling wise or any other sport wise. And I mean, just from the little like experiences that I had with Cody Deaner over the weekend, and like him really like he really took the time to coach us up on like how the show needs to flow, how each match needs to make sure they're doing specific things, and like working cameras, sticking to your time, because time is a big thing on TV. Like if you're given 12 minutes and you go out there and go 17, like you're cutting into the rest of the show. So like that's the point where we're being coached. Like, and I mean, even through the headsets, like they're communicating with the referees, like, hey, make sure you're keeping them on time. And like I felt like I took it upon myself this weekend to challenge myself to coach not only myself but my opponent in the ring, even though I was in there with a vet. But like whole match, I'm in the referee's ear, like, hey, how much time we got? You know, like making sure that I stick to the time, make sure that I do what's asked of me because that's what my coach, so to say, wanted to happen. So I feel like as a former athlete myself, I've gotten far more coaching the higher I've made it in wrestling than what I did in any other sport. So just to throw a curveball to your statement, I feel like it's not really talked about because like you see the finished product on television, but there is a lot of work that goes behind that. Like those they put so much into making sure that the product is what it is. So
Do you which how long? First of all, how long have you been wrestling for? How many matches have you had?
uh I just hit 150 and I've been wrestling for almost 3 years.
Okay, so with this question I'm about to ask you, everybody has goals, in professional wrestling. Some is to, of course, make it to one of the three big leagues, and others they don't really have that as their goal. They just want to be a wrestler. They want to entertain people. They want to showcase, their skills and grow their craft throughout the years and however it takes them or wherever it takes them. For you, what is your goal in the next few years? What can we expect from D'Angelo as far as your growth as a wrestler? Not so much the character or persona that which you portray in the ring, but just your overall growth that people will follow you on social media, see your matches on YouTube, and say this guy should be here, this guy should be there with your fan support. What is that goal for you?
Realistically, my goal at the end of the day is uh financial stability through wrestling. Um I enjoy my job. I'm a teacher, but if I could live off of wrestling and provide for my family off of wrestling, then that's the end goal. Like there's not a specific company that I'm saying like, oh, I have to make it to this company because at the end of the day, like money can be made anywhere, and I've seen that, and just being realistically right now for what's going on in my life, in wrestling, I've um I've been working for Major League Wrestling for a little over a year now. So if that's a place where I can really get my start, because I mean I've had a few matches there that give me a few cool opportunities. So if that's the place that I can really get my start, then I mean I would shoot for it. Of course, there's a lot of good talent there that I can learn from and like grow under. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter to me. I just as long as I can be financially stable and provide for my family, like I got a wife that's like busting her behind, making sure that I can get to all these places and travel and be able to get my name out there. So just to pay it off to her and send her to early retirement through making it in wrestling, that means more to me than any name brand or any championship or anything could give me.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you this question to follow up behind what you just said. Have you had any opportunities um to watch both of the new WWE programmers on Tabby, which is Evolve, and on A&E if you have it, the LFG? And if you have, what are your thoughts on those?
So I've been watching a lot of Evolve. Like I said, I train with Sean Legacy, who's kind of like the guy in Evolve right now, and he was also like my second match ever, which is really cool to say. But I see him a lot at a lot of the shows that I work at because we work at the same shows or whatnot, and like just being able to pick his brain and him talk about how different stuff is when you're working at that high of a level. Um, I think they're doing something really special. I think WWE is really changing the game. Like the fact that they went from like a few years ago where they were strictly just bringing in college athletes, and that was their goal. We're gonna bring in college athletes, coach them, and develop them into the stars that we want. But to see them bringing it back to the independent talent and like realizing that there's far more talent on the independent scene, and them actually going out to scout and find the top indie talent, that kind of like it motivated me in a way because like I said, even though like my end goal isn't just a specific brand, knowing that that opportunity is there now, like that, I feel like that woke up the independent scene because I mean, I broke out in a time where the independent scene was up and coming, especially in my area. But man, like now, because you got to think about it, like I'm in the South Carolina area, and Javon Evans got picked up. Like these are guys that we used to be in the locker room with. Saquon Sugars in NXT. Like one of his last matches was against me before he got signed. So like seeing these guys that I know on a personal level go to the next level and have this level of success, like it opened the eyes for everybody in my area, and like wrestling in the Carolinas is starting to get back to a high level, and that's because we all understand now, like, hey, there's eyes on this area. Like those boys made it, and it's just like football recruiting. Like a lot of my offers in football came from the guys that played before me. Like we had 4 or 5 guys go D1 my freshman year, and those same schools, they were like, hey, we found this standout talent at this school. Let's go back and recruit at this school. You feel me? Like that's how recruitment works. If there's a feeder program that produces talent, that's where the recruits are going to come from. So I'm sure WWE has that same aspect when it comes to recruiting. Like, hey, there's guys in this area that are really talented that are on our roster right now. Let's go see what else is in that area. So, and
if you had to, I'm going to cut you off the end. Go ahead, finish. Because I had a question follow up what you were going to say.
No, that was basically what I was ending with.
So, if you, based on what you were saying about just watching both programs, if you had to choose between either one to get you a break in WWE, get your chance to go into WWE, which one would you choose? And after if you chose LFG, you won the contract, and they developed you, would you want to be a part of a stable or a faction, or would you just really hope to showcase yourself as a true solo competitor?
If I had to choose, honestly, I would probably take the Evolve route, just because like I've seen what Evolve has done for like the guys in my area, and like not only does it open the door for WWE, like these guys are getting booked everywhere now because they have that logo they can attach to their name. Like, oh, I'm a WWE ID guy, or I'm on Evolve. So now they're getting the best of both worlds because they can work on a WWE product and they can work anywhere on the indies. Mm-hmm. But I do like that approach. If I were to take the LFG route, realistically, I think that I could thrive in either background, whether it's in singles or in a faction. I love faction work when it's done right. I feel like in factions, like every person in the faction should have their time to shine. So, if it's written to where, I can shine and my boys around me can shine, or even if it's something where like I'm the mouthpiece of the faction. Cause like I'm kind of doing a thing right now with one of the companies I work for down in Georgia, where I'm more of the mouthpiece, like, and I do less of the wrestling, but I have a big henchman that goes and does all the wrestling, and I just get all the credit for it. And like that's really taught me to open up my character and like truly develop the character aspect. Because like I'm confident in my in-ring ability, so being able to develop my character and portray that and still get that reaction without having to bump, that has really shown me like, okay, well, I know I can thrive as a singles competitor, but I can also thrive in a setting where I'm around a bunch of people and I don't have to bump as much. So,
okay, my last question, because I'm gonna switch it back over to Darkwing after this question.
Okay.
if you get your opportunity to wrestle in the WWE, and you were giving Triple H gave you or Shawn Michaels gave you an opportunity to say you could choose the learning tree to be on the road with this wrestler, man or woman, for the next 2 years, who would you choose?
Oh, that's a good one. The Miz. I'll tell you why. The Miz has had one of the most successful WWE careers. And it's because he's willing to do whatever is asked of him. Straight like that. He's won the championships. He's done it all. But like at the end of the day, bro shows up and does what's asked of him. So to be able to pick his brain and travel the road with him, because like the thing he's doing with Carmelo Hayes now, man, I love that. You know, like he's developing young talent. And Carmelo Hayes is somebody that I like to watch and like use as inspiration. Bars, I heard you say Cedric earlier, man. Like Cedric is literally my icon when it comes to wrestling. So that made me chuckle. But
when I watched some of your film, I just was like, and that's one thing that I take pride in being good at. I'm good at like, analyzing a wrestler's style, his unique abilities, and I'm also good with like as far as the character, the dress. You know what I'm saying, the in-ring gear, you know what I mean? I'm good with that. So when I seen that, a bunch of people just started popping in my head automatically, and I knew that you was influenced by these people because I seen the movement, and then I seen the grace, and I was like, oh yeah, Cedric, oh yeah, this guy, that guy. So I'm really good with it. I take pride in that one right there, you know.
Word. Word. Yeah, I get a lot of Cedric. I met Jimmy Wang Yang a couple of months ago, and he said I reminded him of a young Kofi.
Yeah, right.
He literally
Jimmy
like,
Wang
young
Yang.
Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
He was really cool though. Like I was on a show with his daughter, and he was just there hanging out. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you really move like a young Kofi Kingston." And I was like, "Dang, that's what's up." I vibes with it. Cause Kofi is good, man. People don't realize how good Kofi was back in the day.
That's true. That's true. Doc, when you got something for me, man, or you want me to continue on my question?
No, I was like, you brought up being a mouthpiece slash promo work. Explain to us and the people watching why, if you believe that promo work is as important as the stuff you do in the ring, and why.
It is because like sometimes everything that you're trying to get across in a storyline is not gonna like come out right if it's all physical. So like sometimes you gotta communicate and bring that realism to the storyline. Because if you just go out there and fight and there's no reasoning behind and like yeah, the crowd will get behind it, but at the end of the day, if you come out and you can like talk to them and get them like invested and interact with them, that's what I love about the independent level. Like none of my promos that I my pre-tape promos or live promos, none of them are on a script. It's literally to the point now where I'll go to shows and people know that I can talk. So they'll just give me the microphone and be like, hey, go out there and get this point across. Do that however you see fit. And man, I don't predetermine what I'm gonna say. I don't think of anything. I just walk out there, I feel the vibe of the crowd, and then I deliver the promo. And I think that and my inspiration for promos, especially live promos, is stand-up comedy. If that makes sense. Because you gotta think about it, like stand-up comedians, like if they just go out there and deliver their punchlines back to back to back, it's funny after the first two jokes, ha ha ha, but there's a cadence to how they do it. There's a cadence to how they set up stories to then deliver the punchline and get the reaction that they're looking for. Their facial expressions, how they pause to give people a chance to react. So that's kind of the advice that I give to other wrestlers. Like you should cut your promos as if you're doing stand-up comedy. Like give them that time to react, give them the facial expressions, build your promo up to deliver that punchline at the end, and then leave them with the reaction that you're looking for, whether it's good or bad. So when you break down promos into that aspect, then you kind of understand why it's just as important as everything you do in the ring.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Some people I know believe don't believe that promo work is as important as the stuff that you do in the ring, and it's good to hear. I know Bars and Jay Styles don't believe are the ones that believe what I believe. Like, you gotta have me believing in what you're doing. Like, why are you doing this in the ring? Don't just go out there and start hitting on each other. Like, I want to know why.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate you breaking it down like that for some people that might not believe that.
Yeah, it's very essential, for professional wrestlers, men or women, regardless of where they at in their wrestling career, to be able to cut a decent promo to not just sell the overall showcase of the event, but sell their match in particular to get the crowd interested before the match, leading up to it. Like Darkwing just said, investing into the storyline of the match. Like, why are you two guys going at it? Because you see a lot of times, particularly I'm gonna use WWE for example, when they have the gimmick matches such as your steel cage matches or your Hell in a Cell matches, you want to know why these guys going even competing in these matches. Not so much the match is what it is, but what led to this? How did we get here? Why are we here? Then let the story unfold within the match itself for the outcome, regardless of who we're rooting for in the match. And with that being said, D'Angelo, what if you have wrestled in any gimmick type matches such as the steel cage match? What are matches you don't like or you try to avoid as you're still early in your independent wrestling career, and matches that you can see yourself doing and you had at least a good match or an outstanding match from your experience?
Um, I I'm kind of old school. I really like the traditional singles match, but that's just my bias. I've been in a few. Oh, my boys are in the comments. What's up, y'all? Uh, but I've been in a few ladder matches. Um, those are pretty fun. I'm having my first like hardcore match. It's a tag match in a couple of weeks here. So I'm looking forward to it. It's something that I just haven't done before. But I feel like any match or any type of match is interesting when it's done right. So I mean, from seeing them on shows and seeing them live, you can tell a story anyway. And I feel like having a stipulation to your match just makes it more appealing. It makes it different, and it gives you a different angle on how you can tell a story in the ring. So, I mean, I feel like it helps build the it helps the show become more diverse, if that makes sense. Because you can go out there and put on 7, 8 singles matches, but when you put all these different stipulations to it, like it just makes it keeps the crowd invested. So, from my personal experience, like I do want to dabble more into different styles of or different match types. But like I said, I'm biased. I like having a basic one-on-one singles match. That way I can showcase my talent and connect with the crowd. So
I
Would
think
you
it's
like
a
to eventually? Go ahead, boss. Go ahead.
nah. I was gonna say I think it's important to tell a story within the match itself, and being able to cut the promos and things, because like for example, you just said that you think the Miz will be somebody that you will want to work under. Miz cut some heavy promos. Like Miz got bars. Like Miz be going in, and I feel like regardless of what they say about the Miz, like Miz is gonna make you believe every ounce of what he says, whether he wins or loses or not. He gonna make you believe everything. And I think when you said that, I was like, yeah, Miz When you think about it, Miz is like a very good promo cutter. I wanted to ask you, besides the Miz, who from like the past generations that you have like watched film wise that cuts great promos? Like I could name some off the top of my head, like the Ric Flairs, the Dusty Rhodes, the who else? The Hulk Hogan's,
Macho Man.
Macho Man's, there's some underrated ones like Million Dollar Man. Who else? Rick
Mr.
Martell's, Mr.
Mr. Perfect Kirk Hennig.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect, people like that. Have you watched people like that as far as promos and like what would you say about them and like how you could take, bits and pieces from what they do and make it yours?
No, I haven't went that far back to that time period for promo work. Essentially, like I go back and watch that era for a lot of like crowd work. Um, I would I would say like the furthest I go back is The Rock when he first started, like when he started to feel himself, like when he got surrounded with the guys in the nation. That promo work is some of my favorite because like it kind of influenced me in a way too because if you listen to his interviews, the promo work that he started doing during that time period was just the same trash talk that him and the boys would do when he was playing ball in Miami.
Mhm.
So that was him bringing the realism from football into the wrestling world. So I watched that time period and I think back to like when I was playing arena ball and like when I like because I mean when you're playing arena ball, like you're in there with guys who are NFL rejects or guys that just never got an opportunity. So like they have a little bit of like swagger, like anger to them. So I kind of portray that when I'm cutting my promos, if that makes sense. Uh, Other than the one viral promo of Booker T where he dropped the N word,
Mhm.
I did like his style of promo. Like I like how intense he was. Um, so I will give that. But just to kind of like switch like curve the conversation. I do go back and watch that time period. Like I really like to go back and watch a lot of Dean Malenko. Um, he was just phenomenal in ring. Uh, the WCW cruiserweight division, like dude, I pull stuff from there from that generation and implement it myself because like the WCW cruiserweight division isn't talked about as much as it should be because it was really good. Uh, and then I even go back and watch like I go back and watch Bret Hart on house shows. If you watch Bret Hart on house shows, it teaches you how to be an independent wrestler. He takes the bare minimum and exaggerates it and gets the crowd to react. Like that's why I will always have a love for Bret Hart because he didn't have to do anything crazy in his career. Like he took the basics and he took the bare minimum and he exaggerated it for his entire career. That's why he had a lengthy career, and it like it worked. He made it work. So I watch the old stuff more of like for how to move in ring. That way I can implement that with the new style of wrestling. So if you have those old school basics along with the I'll say if you have the old school basics along with the 90s style of promo, but you know how to wrestle the newer generation style of wrestling, I feel like that puts you above the curve. Because then you cater to all crowds. Like because you're gonna have old heads that want to see some kind of like old school flow. You're gonna have the newer generation of crowd that wants to see the cool spots or whatnot, and then you have the people that are invested in the character work that want to hear you talk. So if I can do all three, I can cater to any crowd.
So we've been talking a lot about promo work and your style in the ring. What I want to know is about your family. How did your family and friends react whenever you told them that you wanted to be a professional wrestler?
Word, that's a good question. Um, so I can go ahead and excuse my wife because I met her when I first started training. So like she's kind of been on this journey the whole time. And like she's always been like, well, cool, if you're gonna do this, then let's do it 100% and let's get you signed. So like, she's been with me from day one. I can give that to her. Um, when I first told my mom, she was not happy. Because at the time, like I was dropping out of school to do this,
Mm.
so she was like, I don't know, like maybe you should go back and play football and finish school and do everything that we talked about. And I was like, Mom, like you never know. If I try it and I'm not good at it, I'll stop. And a lot of my friends, like they laughed at me. Like I posted my first day of training, and it's independent wrestling training, so it's just a picture of me in a warehouse in a wrestling ring, and people were laughing, like they were like weren't taking me serious at all. And I mean, I was bigger at the time. I was like 260, 270, like coming off of playing ball. So I was chunky. My body was out of shape. I had a pot belly. I didn't look like I belonged in a wrestling ring. So nobody really took me serious at first. But by the time I debuted and like I started dropping weight, like I got down to like 170 at one point, and now I'm back at 205, which I'm kind of sitting at. But man, I just remember how many people didn't take me serious now, and those same people I can see walking around my hometown with my t-shirt on. Like I feel like that's my biggest flex, and like it's a humble brag too, because like I never went back spiteful towards those people because they just didn't see the vision, And I broke this down. I broke it down like this to my mom and my grandma. I was like, yo, like I asked my mom, I was like, what did you want to be when you were a child? What did you want to be when you grew up? And like you wanted to be a Dallas Cowgirl cheerleader or whatnot. And I was like, you realize that you're gonna go the rest of your life and say that you never did that?
Mm.
When I said that, she was like, dang, that kind of makes sense. And I was like, yeah, like I understand like the traditional style is to graduate, go to college, graduate, get a nice job, work until you're able to retire, and then spend all your money. But why wait until I'm 60 to be able to spend my bread if I can make it now? I'm trying to be done. I'm trying to be done wrestling by 40. Like not done wrestling, but I'm trying to be like I've done it all on TV. I've made it. I can go wrestle when I want to by the time I'm 40. That way I can be home and like be a father one day and like spend time with my family and travel the world. Like I I don't want to, and I wanted to express to my family like I don't want to live a generic lifestyle because if I do that, I end up like everybody else. And I don't. I just feel like there's more to life than a 9 to 5. Like if I everything happens for a reason. If I didn't get into wrestling, I don't necessarily know where I would be in life right now because I when I stopped playing ball originally before I like right before I started training, like I went down a bad path, man. And I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, like not taking care of myself. And when I was playing ball, like I was a solid 250 playing fullback, but I was solid. Like my body looked good, and then that's where when I went through that phase, I went through that episode of life. That's when I started to not take care of my body, and it affected my health. It affected my mental health. But then I get into wrestling, and it gave me something to believe in again. So like, I know a lot of people get into wrestling and say that, oh, wrestling saved my life, but I truly believe wrestling did save my life. So that's why like I put 110% into this thing because like I know in my heart that I'm destined for more in this business.
Go ahead, Bars.
Yeah, your story itself is inspiring because you spoke about mental health. I feel like mental health is important, and I feel like if you're not doing something that you believe in, then that could really dwindle on your spirit as a whole. You got so many people nowadays, they working 9 to 5s and whatever, and they're not happy. They're not
They're not.
happy at all. So I think it's important to be happy. Be happy in your field of what you want to do with your life. You know what I mean? Because you never know. And and you could take a lot of things from that, you know, like you could take like the inspiration, everything, you know. Like wrestling is really inspiring when you think about it because like it tells so many stories of the underdogs. Like there's a lot of underdog stories within professional wrestling. A lot of underdog stories. Like I'm pretty sure the historian himself, Jay, could tell you like about 5,000 of them joints. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of underdog stories. So with your story, I don't necessarily look at it as an underdog. I look at it as a come up story because like you really you passed that underdog phase. Like you're not really an underdog anymore. You passed that phase. You started your journey, you got into the ring, you showed that you can do it, and then you passed the phase and now you're looking forward to like international in Canada. You worked in MLW. Shout out to Alex Kane too. We had him on the show a few years back. Alex Kane. Shout out to Alex Kane too. Like, you know, so like those things right there are inspiring. And I'm hoping that somebody will see you, like a young talent will see you and get inspired off of that. Because I feel like it's important to like deliver that message down to a science that you could do it if you put your mind to it, you know?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always been my philosophy, man. Like I got boys that I grew up with, like who were great athletes or like they were just great people that just I'm not downing them or nothing because like they're alive, they're well. But I just feel like they didn't reach their full potential and like they'll reach out to me on social media sometimes and be like, man, like how do you get to do all this stuff? Like how do you get to travel? How do you get to like how'd you get into wrestling? I'm like, man, I just did it. Like don't just like I stopped saying what if and start saying how can I accomplish this? Like I got sick of saying what if like and it's worked because like I'm gonna be real. The whole MLW thing started as a what if. Like I just showed up one day. Me and my homeboy showed up one day to help with the ring crew, and you know I went there that day. I got to meet a lot of the guys, meet the crew, and I was like, man, what if? You feel me? Like what? Like what if I end up like wrestling here one day? So then I show up to another show and like I've been consistent at this point. So then the producer pulled me aside and was like, hey man, like we want to bring you on the crew. Like have you traveled with us or whatnot? So that way you can kind of like get exposure and like, you know, we'll cover everything. Like we just want you to come here and be a part of the crew. So I was like, cool. And like once I got established on the crew, I was like, man, you know, I give it another 2-3 years and they might throw me a match or something. Fast forward, it's 2 months later. I was just in the right place at the right time. I flew in at like midnight. The producer was sitting down at the bar, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I gotta find somebody to fill this dark match spot because it got canceled." And I said jokingly to him, I was like, "Man, I bought my gear." And then he walked away for 5 minutes, and he came back. He was like, "Cool, you're booked." And I was like, "Bro, like I called my wife, like I'm in tears. I'm like, baby, like I'm getting this big payoff. Like what the heck? Like what's going on right now?" And I mean, like I feel like had I not had a plan in place to figure out how I can make this happen, and I just left it at what if and then went on to something else, that wouldn't have happened. So, I mean, my grandma always said, closed mouths don't get fed. So,
Mm,
like,
ain't that the truth?
for real.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma always know best, bro.
Oh, yeah. My grandma's my favorite person, man. Like, she literally, I got out of the ring the other night after I wrestled in Canada. And I walked outside so I could FaceTime her. And, like, she's sitting there at the phone, like, did you win? Like, my grandma is my biggest fan. Like, she doesn't understand, but then again, she does. Like I'll lose sometimes, and like she'll just get so pissed off, and I'm like, Grandma, it's okay. Like I'll bounce back. But I mean, like just seeing her face light up when I told her that I won, and like the crowd was like hot for it, and just seeing her smile and like seeing how proud she was, man, like that really hit home for me.
You mentioned Canada, so I wanted to ask you, what do you think of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling?
Man, I got to work with a lot of their guys this weekend and like pick their brains and like, man, they're doing something really cool. I met Scott Demore back in 2023, I believe, when Impact and New Japan did the Multiverse show in Philly. So I did extra work for that show, and I got to sit down with Scott and pick his brain a little bit, and I really like what he's doing with that product up there, and like hopefully what I did up there this weekend get some eyes over that way. That way, like I can hit them up and be like, hey, you know, I got a passport. Like y'all say word. You feel me? Yeah, I think they're doing something
What's the
special up there.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think they're doing something special up there.
Absolutely. What's been your favorite indie promotion to work with?
Oh man, definitely got to say the it's a company, it's a little small company down in Augusta called PWE, Phoenix Wrestling Experience. Um, we run at a bar, but man, like it it it's different from any other show that I've been on. You know, PWE is like it wasn't the promotion that I started out at, but it's definitely become my home promotion over time. Uh, the promoter, he's a real down to earth guy. He does stuff the right way. You know, he makes sure his talent's taken care of. Like man, he gets us so many opportunities. He gives us so many opportunities to grow. Like we're not just out there putting on matches just to put on matches. Like he gives us a chance to be creative. Uh, he's really helped me develop my character. Um, and you know, he's given me countless opportunities to perform with some of the best talent in the area. Uh, so yeah, I would definitely say that the Phoenix Wrestling Experience, Augusta, Georgia, hands down my favorite place to work.
Looks like you got you a fan down there too in the chat.
Oh no, that's my boy. That's my boy Dalton. He does photography for us at PWE, and he's also
Okay.
he's training to be a wrestler as well. So
Hey, Dalton, you need to get with Jay Styles. He's also a photographer. Was a freelance photographer for the WWE.
Yeah.
word.
So I got a couple of events locally I do as well. You heard of Maryland Championship Wrestling?
Yeah, yeah.
So I live in DC, but Maryland Championship Wrestling headquarters, Joppa, Maryland, is about a little over an hour from me. So I'm usually when they're in Waldorf, Maryland, I usually go to those events versus Joppa, because Joppa is going towards Baltimore, Waldorf is going towards Indian Head. So I usually go to those events in Waldorf versus
Look, hey, y'all say
towards
the word.
Baltimore.
Y'all send me some promotions in y'all's area. I promise you, me and Dalton will be in the car on the way up there. Like
Yeah.
that.
You
Like
also
9 times out of 10,
you also
if I'm
wrestled
on the
in
show,
Richmond?
Dalton's in my car and he's going with me. So
You don't want to come to Oklahoma, bro.
yes, I do. Yes, I do. I
I
want to
do
go anywhere but South Carolina. I would love to come
I
to
do
Oklahoma.
Richmond as well with D'Angelo. Richmond Championship Wrestling for there's a Richmond Championship Wrestling which is tied into the Virginia State Wrestling promotion, the Indies promotion for Richmond, which is now get ready to be affiliate of Mid Atlantic Wrestling. I don't know if you heard about Mid Atlantic Wrestling in the
Yeah,
Indies.
yeah. I worked at a few of the Mid Atlantic shows. I worked at a Mid Atlantic show in West Virginia.
Yeah, yeah, they got a show coming up in Wheeler, West Virginia, um, in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Word. That's what's up.
Yeah, they got Wheeler. Then right after that, they got Shepherdtown. Then they go to Morgantown, and then they head to um, Charlestown, West Virginia.
Word.
So
Yeah, I
yeah, I do
mean,
a couple
for
of
real.
those shows too.
Y'all send me a list of promotions, I'll hit them up. And that goes for anybody in the comments too. Like if y'all know any good promotions, like please send them my way. Cause like I am always down to travel. And my goal is to not wrestle in my home state a lot moving forward.
Yeah,
So
hit me up later, man. Later on this week, um, preferably Friday or Saturday of this week, because the rest of the week I'm outside of my day job. I got some personal family stuff I gotta attend to. at a
Word.
death of my family. So Friday or
I'm
Saturday,
sorry.
hit me up. Let me know when you can be close in town, and then I can see about taking photos of you backstage with you. Just let the wrestling promoter know, hey, this is my photographer for this event. He can be taking photos of me backstage before the match begins. So
Word.
they'll know that I'm with you, and they'll just give me a media pass for the event.
Word.
Go ahead, Bars.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too. Since we're on the whole promotion thing, what promotion do you feel will fit your in-ring character, and why?
Hmm. Now we're talking like major promotion.
Doesn't matter, major promotion, indie promotion, but I want to go major. That's because that's the goal for you is to go major. So like, I want to go. I want to keep it on a major scale. So, what do you feel?
Honestly, and I'm not saying this just because I work for them, but I really feel like I would fit in well and gel with the MLW brand. Just from like being there and seeing them from the outside in, like I'm gonna keep it real. Like, and my sales pitch, if they ever do ask me, like, why should we bring you in, is because the only black talent they have is Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas, the Boomaye Fight Club. You know, they had Kevin Knight, but then he got signed to AEW. Which shout out to my boy Kevin Knight. Like I met Kev when he was a young lion in New Japan, so seeing him blow up is amazing. But yeah, I mean outside of Alex Kane, Mr. Thomas, and I guess now they just brought back Myron Reed. There's no young black talent on that roster. So like I would want to come in and do something completely different than that of what Kane is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's where my character work comes in because like my babyface character is just the explosive babyface that everybody loves, everybody vibes with. But as a heel, I am more of I'm that cocky athlete that everybody went to high school with, who the coaches love, but all your classmates hated,
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And I feel like my character work as a heel is more of like it's more of a portrayal of Deion Sanders is as it, more than it is of a professional wrestler. Because I come in like I'm flashy, like I have on the suits, the glasses, like I'm big money, I'm larger than life, and I portray that without doing it like generically. Like I don't walk out with the money or whatnot. Like I just kind of walk out with that swagger of like I'm better than everybody in this building, and nobody else on that MLW roster is really doing that right now. So I feel like if I pitch to them like me coming in as like the hot draft pick or whatnot, or like the hottest new recruit, and like I come in with that mindset, like we've all seen enough television, and we've seen what happens on ESPN when like you have these big name recruits and they come in and like I I always picture it as the scene of like the big time recruit coming into like a football practice and they're not wanting to do nothing, like they're not even dressed up, like everybody else is in their helmet and shoulder pads. This dude's walking around with a Rolex on, like just kind of existing, but he's like the big deal. He's the talk of the town. So I feel like portraying me in that way and like allowing me to push that character would be cool, or just having me come in and do my babyface work and just have crazy matches with the guys on that roster to kind of prove that I can hang with the guys on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love coming in as the nobody and then walking out as a somebody. Like that literally happened this weekend. Like man, I walked out there and they didn't really react when I hit the curtain, and then I started talking. And I announced to them, I was like, hey, tonight will be my first match outside the United States. And they were like, okay, woo. Like they started cheering. But then I started moving. I started wrestling. So I invested them with the promo, which is time back to everything we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I invested them with the promo. And by the end of the night, they were chanting my name. So, I mean, I feel like I have the ability to do that in any setting, but for now, and like I said, maybe I'm a little biased because I work there, but I really think that I can hang on the MLW level and become a somebody, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
It definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. But you are a somebody. You know what I mean? Let's rephrase. You are somebody. You know what I mean?
Oh
You
yeah,
just
100%.
you're trying to elevate to the next level, the boss level. But you are somebody. You know what I mean? I always preach that. You know what I'm saying? You are somebody. I got one more. I got one more question. Then I'll bounce it back to Darkwing, and then I'll whatever. But my next question is, who is your wrestling GOAT right now? Now, when I'm saying wrestling GOAT is, I'm not talking about nobody from the past. I'm talking about present state right now. If you had to
Right
pick
now.
present state right now of who is the GOATs, because we already know, we most of the time we know who our wrestling GOATs are from the past, like the past OGs or whatever. But I'm talking about right now. If you had to pick right now, who's your GOAT? Who you got?
Man, that's a good one. Hmm. There's so many answers, man. Like there's so many people I could like. Damn. Uh, right now, I mean, uh, it's kind of hard to say that though, because he ain't really been active up until recently. So Randy Orton's always been in my GOAT category. So Randy's first pop in mind for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we're talking right now. I gotta say Seth Rollins. Gotta say Seth Rollins. Like, you know,
Okay.
and for me, like, you know, I rock with Seth Rollins since like Tyler Black and Ring of Honor.
Okay.
So I just seeing his growth from like an indie performer to becoming like kind of the same gimmick I portray. Like he comes out, he has his own swag. Like he does stuff his own way in his own unique way, and like it's over. So I gotta say him, and like his in ring work is incredible. Like his pacing,
Yeah.
his crowd work. So for me, I would say Seth.
Okay. That's
So
what's up. Oh,
so
go
I,
ahead.
I want to jump into something that's near and dear to me. Um, Representation in the wrestling industry. What are your thoughts on that?
I believe that they are making strides to make it better than it has been in the past, but I feel like representation really matters. Like, man, when I can go to a show and hold on, oh there it is. Sorry, but when I go to a show and I see a young black kid that looks like me, man, I'm catering to that kid for the rest of the night. Like, because I remember that being me at one point. You feel me? And like, you know, in my household, like my grandma always made sure like I rooted for the black wrestlers, even if they were heels. Like I always, if Shelton Benjamin was on TV, we had to cheer for Shelton Benjamin. If Booker T was on TV, we had to cheer for Booker T. And that's just kind of a thing that we established in our household. Like it's like when your grandma watching Wheel of Fortune and the one black person on there, like who they gonna root for? Like, you
Absolutely.
feel me? So I think representation, and not only in like the black community, but in all communities, because wrestling is so like globally known. I feel like having that representation, and not just, and when I say representation, I don't mean just putting the belt on somebody temporarily to say like, oh, here's a black champion, or here's an Indian champion, here's an Asian champion. Like no, like we need to see this weekly. And I feel like they've done that. They've done a better job with it, especially like at NXT. Because I mean, NXT is really like uplifted black talent. And what I would love to see is that like translate to the main roster a little more. And that's just my opinion. Uh, I feel like a lot of other promotions, like I feel like TNA is doing a really good job of that. Like, I mean, Moose has been he's been the name of the brand for the last what going on 10 years now. And I really admire that he stayed there and became that name for TNA, for young black talent to look up to, and for young black children to look up to. Um, and that's why I really like what Alex Kane is doing, and that's why I would like to come in and do something different. Because I mean, like the Boomaye thing is pro black, it's pro everything. You know what I'm saying? Like Boomaye is for the people. That's the whole basis of the gimmick. But then again, like you have kids like myself who I love, and I love my black people, and I love all people. But there were times where I would be picked on as a kid because I didn't act like the other black kids, and I was always labeled as, "Oh, you act white," or like, which I never understood, like because I carry myself with pride. Like that doesn't make me white, because I know some crazy white people that act just as stupid as y'all trying to say that I need to act. And I've always had that label. So like kids like that who don't really fit into a culture, I want to cater to them and do something different to give them somebody that looks like them but thinks like them to look up to. And I feel like that's the one thing that I wish was different about our community. I wish that we could love each other more and understand that like diversity is real.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to be subjected to a certain lifestyle just because of how we look.
Yeah.
We can be who we want to be. Like I love looking back now, especially as a teacher, and growing up, if you asked us what we wanted to be, everybody said, "I want to be in the NFL. I want to be in the NBA." It makes me smile nowadays when kids are like, "Oh, I want to be an actor. I want to be a writer. I want to be a musician." Like even when kids like nowadays, "Oh, I want to be a YouTuber." Go do it. If you can make money filming yourself and post it on YouTube, go do it. I'm all for it. Like you don't have to be a stereotype. Nothing I do in wrestling is a stereotype. I've turned down storylines on the independent level because it was too stereotypical. And I told the promoter straight up, like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not who I am. Like, there was this promoter at this random little show in North Carolina one time that hit me up and was like, "Hey, man, like, I want you to come in and do a rap gimmick." I was like, "No, I can't rap. I'm not going to go out there and give you something that's not authentic because I'm black. No, that's not happening. You can't pay me enough to do that." You feel me? Like,
I
even if
feel
I
like that's the
could.
kind of stuff that they were doing, like especially in WWE with like Prime Time, like
Yeah,
the Street Profits. Like we know what that was catered around. You know what I mean? Like they're good, but don't get me wrong. But that name, come on, we know
right,
what you were aiming for.
right. And I feel like that's why I really like what they're doing in NXT right now, because I mean, you have Obafemi, who's this giant of a man who people love. You have Trick Williams, who plays that cocky athlete, which Trick is
Mm.
also from my neck of the woods too. So shout out to him. And then you have Javon Evans, who has been the young OG since he was like 14. Like I remember watching him. I'll never forget being on shows with bro, and this kid would get up in the morning and play AAU basketball, and then come work like the main event of the shows that we were on and tear it up. So like that kid's legit, man. Like I love seeing what he's doing now. That kid is legit. But they're getting to be themselves. They're not stereotypical black gimmicks. And that's what I generally love about the NXT level. But like I said, I would love to see that go to the main roster and get more TV time. Like I'm really hoping to see Carmelo Hayes get a big push here eventually. You feel me? Like, cause I remember watching Melo debut against Adam Cole, or I don't know if that was his debut match, but that was the first time I saw him when he came out and like had he recreated the ruthless aggression thing with Adam Cole. That was the first time I ever saw him in WWE. Like I remember him on the Indies when he was Christian Casanova, but seeing that and seeing his growth in NXT, I just hope it doesn't go to waste because that happens a lot. Like, I am still butthurt that Cedric never got a push before he got released. Like, dog, you don't understand. Being a young black man from the Carolinas, like, we all looked up to Cedric because he wasn't stereotypical. He was him. Like, Cedric in the ring is who Cedric is in real life. And that's why I love to watch Cedric, because I got to see that as a child, and then seeing him take off and do what he did. Like, I was like, man, I was always waiting, like, man, there's something more. Like, there's got to be something more. Like, the Cruiserweight Championship thing was cool, but like, there's got to be something more.
Yeah, I feel like they really fumbled with Cedric. I mean, they did right by him with the whole Hurt Business thing, but once they disbanded the Hurt Business, they did nothing else with him. And he
Right.
just sat there until they sent him to NXT to do his little stay in NXT before they ultimately released him. So yeah, I feel like they fumbled Cedric a lot.
100%.
Um, did you have any black wrestlers that you looked up to while you were growing up?
100%. I I definitely look up to The Rock. Just like I said, like being a football player growing up and like hearing his story all the time, like of how he made it, and he was definitely one of them. I always look up to Shelton because Shelton is another one that's from my neck of the woods. Uh, I grew up in Swansea, South Carolina. He grew up in Orangeburg, which is like 20 minutes down the road. It was one of our rival schools, which is the school he went to. Um, so being able to watch him on TV and watch him do what he did, and he's another one that should have got pushed a little bit more. I feel like seeing Shelton with a world championship would have been amazing as a child. I mean, I I don't see why they didn't, but I liked watching them two. Trying to think of who else. Jay Lethal. I take a lot from Jay Lethal, a lot from Jay Lethal, and it started. It was the first time I ever discovered Ring of Honor, um, because I got to watch a Moose a lot more, and it was a match that him and Lethal had on Ring of Honor, and man, that's still one of my favorite matches to watch to this day. Like I, from that point on, like watching him hit the handspring cutter, like that was one of the first things I wanted to learn in wrestling, and like when I first started wrestling, like I said, I was still bigger. So I'll go to do the handspring and like land on my neck essentially. But dog, when I slimmed down and like realized like, oh, I can kind of move now. And I tried it a few times, and now like every time I hit it, I'm like, yeah, like I'm finally doing this thing that I wanted to do as a kid because I saw Jay Lethal do it. So like I take a lot from Jay Lethal, man. And like he was definitely one of those inspirations for me. His character work is unmatched.
Yeah, Jay Lethal is a beast. I had the privilege of going to a collision event a few weeks ago with my son, and I seen him live. And Jay Lethal is when he works that ring, it's like a work of art. Like he is super super good. And like his character work is unmatched. Like the times where he did the woo off with Ric Flair,
Like,
classic. I was in tears when he did that. And the funny thing is, right, he had the wrestlers in tears too, but they trying to hold it together because it was so funny. Like they really, really tried to hold it together, and like man, like when you could, like you good with your promos if you could make another person break character. Like you doing something right because he had them laughing too. They had to turn away from the camera. That's how I know they was gone after that. But yeah, man, Jay Lethal was where, and he from Jersey too. I'm a Jersey native myself, but yeah, he from Jersey. He yeah,
word.
yeah. So yeah,
Well, bro, before we start bringing people up, you want to go ahead and plug where you're gonna be at next?
Uh, yes, I am wrestling at Atlantic Coast Wrestling up in North Carolina this weekend. Next weekend, I'll be in Wilmington, North Carolina at United Pro Wrestling Association. Um, I'll be going to Memphis in June for NOCW, making my debut there. I will be in New York with MLW on June 26th. Don't know if I'll be on the show or not. I never know until the week of. But I will be there. I will be backstage at least. And I'm working on a few projects here and there in between. I will be at Phoenix Wrestling Experience. We're running a Wednesday, or we're doing a show Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday the first week of June or the second week of June. So we're doing a lucha show. We're doing our main show, and we're also doing a show at a church, like catered to the church, which is really cool. So I'm gonna be all over the place. So if you guys have me on social media, just follow my social media. I'll be posting where I'm at, and if I'm in your area, pull up. If I'm not in your area, send me the shows in your area, and I'll pull up. Straight like that.
I still got to get that shirt from you, bro. That 2X you were supposed to be saving for me. I still got to get that.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I'll have to DM you so I can get the information on how to get you the money and stuff, so I can get that, because I'll definitely wear it. I'll wear it on my show and on shows that I have with bars and other creators. I'll be promoting you too, bro.
Word. And like I said, man, like I have other designs on my pro wrestling tee shop. So if you go to my link tree, and this is for everybody that's watching, like I go to my link tree, man, like my pro wrestling tee shop is on there. Get the merch. I made all those logos, so they're all personal to me. So definitely get out there and support.
I'm on it. Bars, you got anything else for him before we start letting people up?
Yeah, I had like two more questions, but
All yours.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna ask him to try to combine them both. Well, the last two questions, the first of the last two is who would be your dream opponent? Your dream opponent. Cedric Alexander. Okay, cool. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. What about this is the last question. What rapper do you think will be the perfect wrestler, and what rapper could cut a wrestling promo? Now, I'm gonna tell you like this. I stumped a few wrestlers already with this question. They took like 15 minutes to answer this question. And so I'm not gonna be surprised if you can't answer right away. But yeah, what you got?
I'm gonna say this because I've had this conversation before, and my boys kind of looked at me sideways because I said Kanye, but I mean, bro, Kanye is so unhinged. Like, I can only imagine seeing that in a wrestling setting and how the crowd would react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like it would be weird, but in an entertaining way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I even like later down the line in my storyline of like being a heel, I pitched to the promoters where I work heel. I'm like, yo, what if I just snap and like go like a Kanye type snap where like people think I'm insane, but I think like I'm valid, but everybody thinks I'm insane at the same time. So
He said Kanye.
I kind of want to pull from Kanye, but like now that you said that, like I said, I've had this conversation before, man. Like I would kill to see Kanye in a wrestling setting and just see how crazy that gets.
Yeah, I'm
That
not
would be
gonna
freaking
front.
wild.
Yeah, that would be wild. That would be very entertaining to watch. I feel like we got some of that though in professional wrestling before though. Like if you look at it, you think of a Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman when he became the when he was part of the Four Horsemen, and then later when he became the Loose Cannon. Like I feel like Brian Pillman did something similar to that. I feel like The Miz even did something similar to that at one point with R-Truth. Remember, I forgot what year that was, and R-Truth was smoking a cigarette and everything after the match or whatever. Like I feel like that, and then there's a few guys that kind of dabble with it now you know they didn't go so much in depth, but they kind of dabbled with that type of character. So yeah, but that would be crazy to see Kanye persona in a wrestling ring. Yeah.
100%.
Well, if that's all you got for him, bars, if anybody wants to come up and ask D'Angelo any questions,
Please do.
would be all for it. So if you want to come up, request.
Please do. Please do. I am all for talking to people.
Should
What's
I
up,
be
Angel?
nice or should I be villain, Angel? What do you guys want tonight? I'm just kidding. Nice to meet you, D'Angelo.
Ask D'Angelo.
I want all the smoke.
You all.
I want all.
You might not want to say
Oh,
that
no,
because
she
I
been
like to
good.
argue.
She been
Just
good. She
kidding.
not my setting.
See, he's already dropping his phones. I'm making everyone nervous.
Boo!
Hey,
Get her out of here.
he's not Tyree, so don't you worry about that. He's not
Oh,
Tyree.
shit.
Nah, I'm good.
This guy
I'm
is
good.
cool.
No, he has. I've been listening to the whole entire conversation. So first,
I appreciate that,
this was
Angel.
awesome.
I really do.
Yeah, I was like, I was enjoying it. I was listening to it, playing my little game on my phone, and like people
What were you playing?
messaging me and stuff. But I enjoyed it. It was interesting to hear a different perspective. And I love engaging with like the indie wrestlers and stuff. But Darkwing, I did send you a DM on TikTok. So when you're done, like I found there's another one that you might want to interview too, just so you know.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Send it
Mr.
to Bars too.
D'Angelo. Okay, I will. First, congratulations on your changeover from athletics to, I guess, athletics/wrestling. So it's quite interesting to hear everything that you went from one major sport and then dropped into a different sport. So it was like totally different realm. But how do you keep yourself grounded? How do you keep yourself like pretty mellow with like getting into the fame spectrum now with being on MLW and getting more into the indie scenes? Like what keeps you at the end of the day?
My wife, she reminds me like, all right now, like she'll bring me down if I get too high, and also showing up to work on Monday after being on the road all weekend. That's very
because you're a teacher, right? You said you were
Yes.
a teacher.
Yes, kindergarten teacher.
What grade level, if you don't mind me asking?
Kindergarten.
Oh my God. The
So
little.
I go from being like superstar on the weekend to a bunch of 5-year-olds crying and fighting, and I have to put out those fires on Monday morning. Like that's the most humbling thing that can like keep you grounded and make you realize like, okay, back to the real world. Like,
Oh wow. So what are some advice that you would give? Because my nephew is 9, and I have another one that is just going into first grade, and they love professional wrestling. They love sports. They play baseball. They love wrestling, and I'm actually taking one to a pay-per-view this weekend. What is some advice for the younger ones that are wanting to maybe dabble into it and hit up mom and dad at this young age and say, "Hey, put me in training"?
I would say, which I told my little brother this. My little brother is 16 now. If you want to play sports first. Get that experience, because I wouldn't be who I am in the ring if it wasn't for my upbringing and my childhood and playing sports. So definitely make sure that they get that experience. Like because wrestling will be, like, and I'm not saying like they have to take off and go like play college ball or anything like I did, but let them be kids first. Because if you get into the wrestling business as a younger person, I feel like you lose the fan aspect, and that's the one thing about me. Like I'll never stop being a fan, and like I know that it's taught at a lot of schools. Like, oh, like once you're in the business, you're not a fan anymore. That's the biggest lie in the world. Like, dude, I watch guys that have been on TV go to shows and ask other guys that have been at higher levels of TV to take pictures. So, like, I feel like getting into wrestling too young will kind of like take away from that fan aspect. But if it's something that they really want to do, like once they're old enough to make that decision, like definitely just be their support system, because like they're gonna need it. Like I wouldn't be where I'm at today without my support system. So just being that support system for them would be amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Hey, Dalton, don't forget to get with Jay Styles. 'Cause Jay Styles, the other Uso, he could probably get you really started. With him. Just have that conversation with him. Shoot him a DM.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, dude. I really do. Like,
Absolutely.
it's been a
Hey, hey, Dan, I
journey.
saw that you had a question earlier in the live for D'Angelo. You want to re-ask that because I didn't really get to it.
Yeah. As I try to get these people signed out here at work, salute to you, young homie. Hopefully, we get to see big success from you in your future. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of what you were saying tonight, listening in, especially on the black man front. You know what I'm saying? Like what you said about the representation and being at home. Like, yeah, I found myself as a fan sitting there mostly rooting for the black folks too. Like that's why I'll forever have an affinity for a Bad News Brown or Bad News Allen, depending on your age. You know, Kamala. I was always the big fat kid, so I did Kamala at Halloween one time. You know what I'm saying? But the question was because we were bringing this up the other night, and I mentioned I would like to see somebody mentioned about bringing managers back and hearing you saying your style as if you were a heel, you would bring the cocky athlete back.
Mm.
But do you think having a manager at your level, please, kids, all right? Do you think having a manager at your level would either help or hurt or hinder your characters, whether you are face and or heel?
I feel like as a heel, it could definitely develop my character if it's done right. Does that make sense? Like, especially
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
if I'm coming in as that cocky athlete, like, and it can easily go from like, oh, this like it's not necessarily my manager on the screen; he's my agent. Because like every big name athlete has an agent, like especially in
Right.
the world of
The
football.
spin on it would have to be unique to what you
Yeah, so like, and like I feel like just spitballing like ideas off of that, like I feel like for like promos and stuff, like especially if we're doing a live promo, like if we're doing like a pre-tape promo, I would have it set up to where like I'm doing a press conference, like a post game press conference type thing, where I'm sitting there and like people like there's a bunch of microphones and cameras and whatnot, and like I'm just being like if I'm a heel, like I'm just being that generic asshole, and like I'm like, hey, take it up with my agent. Like people are asking me controversial questions, I'm like, take it up with my agent. Like you're not getting a word
That
out of me.
kind of reminds me of like MVP and Teddy Long. Do you remember?
Exactly. That's literally where I was going. She gets it.
Mm-hmm.
She gets it.
Absolutely. If aside from the obvious Teddy Long or Paul Heyman, who would fit that category right now for you if you had that option?
Me.
Mr. Mayor, you're not an option.
Who said? See, all y'all
You're
been
not.
Leave
doing
it
is
to Dan.
see now y'all been shooting down my goals in getting in the business at this big age of 45 because I don't see myself in ringing, but managerial wise, I'm ready to talk some shit for somebody.
Let's do it. Like we can talk about it all day, man. You let me know.
You ain't close enough though,
Where you
unless
at?
you in New York.
New York is an hour flight.
Oh, see, flight we talking about. That's states away.
Dan, he's in South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
in
he's
South
in.
Carolina. That's an hour flight, man. That's nothing. I'm actually gonna be in New York in next month.
Dope.
So yeah.
Hog wrestling by chance?
Um, I don't know yet. I'm traveling up there for the MLW show, so it's up to them. If I show up and they're like, "Hey, we need a match." I mean, last time I was in New York was when I made my debut at MLW, so maybe they'll be
Believe
like,
me,
"Hey,
we gonna be watching. We gonna be watching.
Mm-hmm.
Light skin, I know you got some good question for D'Angelo. As well rounded as you are, I know you got something.
you better have a good question with the name light skin. You better have a good question."
Well, first off, I'm like Dan over here. I'm 40 years old, and my days of being physical are pretty much done. All right, I had this conversation with my knees about 5 years ago. Okay, so the only thing I really want to do in professional wrestling is be behind the desk and calling the action, because I've had multiple different people, because I work around a lot of people and they're like, you have a good voice for radio. They tell me I should get into podcasting. They tell me I should get into radio. The big thing that I've always wanted to do is just call the action behind the desk and be a commentator. Any sort of words of wisdom on how to get my foot in the door in that route?
I would say just go for it, man. Like commentary is a very lost art. And like if you like you said, if you have the voice for it and it's something that you can do, I would say go for it. Like honestly, like where are you based out of, if you don't mind me asking?
I am based out of the Twin Cities in Minnesota.
Okay, cool. So yeah, honestly, I would just like hit up people in the indie scene out there and just see about getting your foot in the door. Because I mean, I feel like it's easier to get that kind of work in wrestling than if like me as a wrestler, because promoters' inboxes are going to be beat down by wrestlers. Like, hell, hey, can you book me? Like, I've done this and this and this. But if you come at them with a different approach and you're like, hey, like, I'm just somebody that wants to get into commentary. Like, I feel like I have a solid voice. Like, the same way you just pitched it to me, man, pitch that to promoters. Because the worst thing they can say is no.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like not only like reaching out to them, but showing up to shows, that way they can get to know you as a person, will also put you ahead of the curve. Because I feel like that's what's helped me a lot, is just showing up. Because 9 times out of 10, like talent, it's good to be talented in wrestling, but a lot of it is about who you know. I've learned that, and who enjoys being around you. So if people enjoy being around you, if they enjoy you as a person, like they're more likely to give you an opportunity.
I feel that. Thank you for that.
For sure, man. Like chase that dream. Like if that's something you want to do, because like we're sitting here talking now, you go tomorrow and get the opportunity. Who knows? Years down the line, like you might be calling matches on TV.
That is the goal right there. That truly is. That is the goal right there.
Go for it, man.
Actually, the King light skin.
What up?
Next time y'all follow me too. I'm gonna follow y'all back.
I just followed too.
Yeah.
Got you in a second.
Hey, so just so y'all know, Dirty, he is a photographer also. And D'Angelo and Dirty, that y'all travel together, correct?
Yeah,
They travel
everywhere.
together. So Dirty is D'Angelo's photographer. So if y'all got any
That's
questions for
awesome.
Dirty, he's up here also.
He's also very dirty too.
Okay. First, I gotta know why dirty, because that's just.
Because he's
Yeah, what's the. Are we one of those wrestling fans that don't wear deodorant? Because we gotta have that conversation.
God.
Dove
Oh,
is the
first
way
off,
to go.
what's wrong with
Look
the
at
name
D'Angelo's
Dirty?
like.
Don't get D'Angelo started.
Angel, what's wrong with the name Dirty Poncho?
No. We ain't not dirty
Oh,
poncho. Are we Mexican too? And we're not wearing
Yes,
deodorant?
I'm Mexican.
Oh.
What's wrong with Mexican?
It's like
now?
blast.
No,
You know, you
I'm
just pronounce the
Mexican,
X
that's
with an
fine.
A.
No.
I was like, wow,
Dirty.
this ain't no Mexican.
You know what?
Nah, but
You
dirty
can't-
poncho sounds like a move, a different kind of move.
Yeah, it does sound like a move. It
It's
does.
where you just kind of
Hey,
and
we
then
got Dirty Dom.
Now,
Got Dirty
Real
Dom.
nasty
So
for no wisdom.
It rides
No.
along with rusty trombone.
Dirty Dom needs to get some Dove deodorant too. Dirty.
This is
I am
crazy.
Mexican as well, and we need no. Please tell me you got Dove or Speed Stick or something when you're traveling with D'Angelo. Don't do him like
course.
that.
You have no choice. I have it in my bag.
You think I'm just that nasty? Lord have mercy. This is
Got a
just
T-shirt for
I
that.
didn't.
I got a T-shirt for that.
so. I'm a man of many talents.
Oh god.
Oh.
All
Oh.
right, let me start. I'm a streamer on the side as well as a photographer and all these other things. So it's just I need to create another account for my personal stuff, but this is just my streaming account.
This your
What
dirty
do you
account.
shoot? What do you shoot with?
Canon EOS Rebel T7 DSLR.
Mirrorless. You're a mirrorless guy.
Yeah,
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
yeah. It's a black.
I
like,
have
I just- what's
I
up?
do a six. I have a 6D.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Canons are
I
dope.
started-
Cannons are
Yeah,
dope.
Canon.
I got Canon too. I got Canon 60D just like Dan got. I got Canon 60D. I got
Now I got the 6. I got the 6 full frame, 6D.
Oh, you got the 6. Mine's is a 60D. Mine's a 60D with the extendo lens and all that.
Yeah, I got the 6D. I used to shoot battle rap.
Oh yeah,
Care
oh
about some
yeah,
battle rap.
oh yeah. Well,
You
not to get off
you
topic. Well, what
speaking of
league?
bars now? Look at him. Look at his ears perked up when you said battle rap.
I work. I work. I work for my homies at Rare Breed Entertainment.
Oh yeah. What's his face?
Yeah, ARP,
ARP.
ARP,
Mm-hmm.
ARP, and Shanta, are two cats that I went to high school with. They were
Oh
I like when I was a
Oh
senior, they were
man.
juniors.
I always wanted to get on that league. I battled on a few leagues, man, but I always wanted to get in that league, man. But yeah, I kind of left battle rap alone, man. I ain't like the
Well,
politics.
Bars, let me introduce you to Dallas Cash, my little friend. He does battle rap over in Ohio, and they've been doing it over on Twitter.
Oh God, stop.
IWC battle rap over there. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah.
Sent me a
God,
whole
I
bunch of
feel
links.
old. I'm
Whatever.
sorry.
Whatever.
I just feel
And
old
Conscious,
because,
you
like,
stop that.
back in
Whatever.
my
Yes,
day,
you
we
stop
just
that.
stood on the
Real
corner
quick.
and just spit verses at one another, and then 20 some odd years later, there's leagues of it now. You got you
There
got
is.
Smack, you got IRL, you got, like, Lord, back in my day, it'd just be like in a lunchroom with like the tray, hitting the tray on the table with a mic.
That was back in my day too.
Do you know they
Oh.
have belts now? They have belts now.
Yeah, they got
I'm like,
belts.
where did this come from?
Yeah.
Some
What people gotta
Everything
understand
needs
is
a
that
belt.
wrestling and battle rap go hand in hand. That's why
Amen.
this conversation makes sense, because like wrestling has inspired battle rap and battle rap has inspired wrestling. You know,
absolutely.
when
Oh,
them
this
You can
belts
is
come
see
in the
you
I
can
just had a
picture.
conversation with
you
my
can
niece who, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna just say you can see by way of freaking DNA, the saga. If you and if y'all ever met the saga, that dude he's a class kind of character. Like he's a really solid dude. But like, and then you see, they pulled in AJ Francis to battle, which, dude can rap, but whatever, and there's no shade, but he can rap. He can rap. But yeah, battle rapping, it goes hand in hand because it's a show.
Mhm.
It's a show. It's a performance where, again, you might not battle rap. You see it in front where the two people will dap up at the end of the matchup. Where wrestling, you ain't getting that till behind the curtain unless it's called for in that ring. So yeah, it does correlate.
My niece, she does this thing in New York called Rooftop Bars, and she like interviews a lot of people about it, and she wants to bring me on, and we were going over what we were going to actually talk about. And I was telling her, I was like, the music scene is no different from the wrestling scene, really, when you look at it. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, think about it. Imagine me and you, a rap duo or whatever the case may be. We got to get booked in places, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, a lot of people going to hate you because you're not getting as many bookings as them, right? She's like, yeah. And I said, and then you're going to have the people that claim that they knew you back when and how they helped you get wherever, right? She's like, yeah. I said, now switch all that to wrestling. It's really no difference.
That's crazy. Like that is really no different at all.
It's really not, because you call them groupies in battle rap, and we call them rats, or I'm sorry, stars.
No, stars.
Ours.
You cleared that up the other night, brother. Stars.
Do you see
When
how
did she do it?
D'Angelo's eyes got? Like, his are like, what? They call him what?
Nah, think about it. If you spell rat backwards, it's star. So when the rats started realizing that, they knew what a rat was, it was like I started noticing that, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to go chill with the star over here. I'm gonna be back, or whatever the case may be. Star, I'm like, spell rat backwards.
So,
Hey D'Angelo,
oh,
just so you know, D'Angelo, Mr. Entertainment is also, or used to be, an indie wrestler, but he also has his own wrestling school.
Oh, word. Where at?
I'm in upstate New York right now, but the school I'm about to reopen this summer in Rochester, New York. I've been all over with the school. It was in Connecticut for 2 years, and I started it in 2016. But when COVID hit, it messed up everything in 2020 when I was really starting to make strides with it. But like, I was talking with then I got involved in a car accident. It kind of messed me up, and then I'm did the physical therapy and whatever, and came back, and I'm like, you know what? Let's reopen it. My son was like, yeah, Dad, let's do that because you need to get out the house more. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna ask where, but you said Rochester. That's a little too far for me.
Well, it's actually in Auburn, which is like an hour, well, like 45 minutes from Rochester. But like I said,
That's
it's
still too
upstate
damn
New
far
York.
for me. My brother lives up in Montgomery, and that's an hour and 40 plus minute ride from Staten Island.
Oh yeah, it is. So you down in the city. That's like a 5-hour drive for me. So.
Oh yeah, that's way too damn far. Because I would have came to you and instead of going to, I would have supported Black instead of going to Wow Wrestling in Staten Island. But that's my only option as of right now. If I don't go, try to go to like Gleason's.
I was going to say, if you was close, I don't know how far you are from Jersey, but I know Gino Caruso. He runs ECPW up there.
Actually, I could probably get to Jersey just as good too, and I would have to hit up my boy. He used to, I don't know if you know the name. He used to go by Legion or Bill Ding. My boy Damien. He used to work with them years back. So I might.
I've worked with I trained for Gino for a while. When Gino was like basically setting his territories out. We did one in Cortland, New York, where I was the trainer there for a while, and I trained a lot of the guys that y'all probably see like on ECW TV and stuff, ECPW TV and stuff. So yeah, I've known him. I've known like my prized pupil was a kid by the name of Sean Carr. His name's Sean Carr, and he used to call himself the Hybrid. Now he's just Sean Carr, and he's been everywhere and he's done everything. He's been on Impact. He did Ring of Honor back when Ring of Honor was doing the breakout tournament. What's funny is that he originally, in the first match Sean did in that tournament, was against Jay White.
Oh yeah.
Which was crazy. And I'm like, and then like years later, me and Sean are doing the teacher-student thing, and I was like, telling him, because my last name is White, for those of you I don't know. I was like, and he wanted to wrestle me. I was like, it's funny, you got a problem with, beating guys with the last name White.
Which, to segue it back to D'Angelo and you bringing up Jay White, has Japan been knocking on your door recently or not? And by the way, I didn't get it. Other side is I didn't catch. How long have you been working?
I've been wrestling for almost 3 years now. November would be 3 years. But yeah, Japan is my dream destination. 100%.
That's like everybody's dream destination. I remember, like I said, I'm old. I'm 48. So I got to go back like to the early, like 99, 2000s when things like there was this cat, even though he's done WWE, he said he never wanted to do WWE. He said he always wanted to just go and be a legend in Japan. He said that's what he became. He said when he came back, he was just going to work the indies, and then the WWE just said, "Hey, you want a job?" And he was just like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." You know what I'm saying? And that who's that? It was Low Key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Like Japan is definitely on my list. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
No, he mentioned Low Key. I said, "Oh, Brooklyn boy." He used to work. I know he knew my man Steve Mack, who is a cat I went to high school with for like a brief amount of time when he lived on Staten Island. Steve Mack.
Damn, that long ago, huh?
97.
I can't even talk. Yo, I remember. I can tell y'all some stories. I remember the first time I like legit watched Amazing Red and the SATs wrestle. They were going against Brian Excel, and probably a lot of y'all probably don't even know who that is. But and it was like I watched these guys.
I do. I heard of Brian Excel. Oh
yeah. And he's the reason why I cut my braids. Everybody's like, "You look like Brian Excel." I'm like, "Yeah, no, can't have that." So it was.
I got you, conscious.
It was like the first time I watched all three of them wrestle. It was like, and I was just still a like rookie. I was probably like 6 to 8 months in like the business or whatever. And I watched the wrestle and I was like, I need to get here. And I think they were actually doing a show for Ring of Honor. I think it was like Aerobotics Begins or something like that. And Mikey Ripper was there, and he called Brian Excel Little Bow Wow. That was funny. He said, "I don't know who trained you, Little Bow Wow." I was like, "Wow,
that's crazy."
Hey, Conscious.
Improbable legend.
What's going on to the panel? Good day. Well, good night to everybody. Shout out to you, D'Angelo. Congratulations once again, bro, on transitioning from athletics to not athletic wrestling. So one of my questions I have for you is, now that you're going to be in the athletic wrestling scene, what are you looking forward, to face? Like, what are you looking forward for in your journey as you go through this? Like, what are some of the goals that you're looking to accomplish? And like, what is your ultimate goal that you say is like you're going to be your biggest accomplishment?
I think the biggest accomplishment for me, like I said earlier, is just to be financially stable. That way I can take care of my family. I got my first taste of international work this past weekend. Like I'm literally just getting home from it today. So I definitely want to implement that more. Like that this weekend kind of opened my eyes and made me realize that wrestling is so much bigger than just being a name in my area. That's why, like, I've been telling y'all, and I'm gonna continue to tell y'all, like, if there's shows in y'all's area, let me know because I will hit them up. Like, I'll be on the first.
AWF, Arizona Wrestling Federation. I'm hopefully going to a show either Saturday and also in June or July. I think it's June because Cora Jade's supposed to show up here.
Does Bryce Saturn wrestle out there?
I believe so. That name does sound familiar. But they're doing a Rumble like this Saturday, and I know I think it's June 28th. It's on a Saturday too. But they have like different locations they hit up here in Arizona.
Okay, I actually probably can make that because I'll be leaving.
Yeah,
nice.
Where exactly are you located?
I am based in South Carolina right now, but I mean,
my man stay out there, Caprice Coleman. That's my dude.
I love Caprice. Caprice.
Yo, I'm constantly talking to him and Jarrell Clark like simultaneously on TikToks and Facebook and Instagram because I always be like, because I know his son is in the ring now.
Oh yeah, Chase is good too.
Yeah, Chase is definitely good, and I just be talking to him because like I always tell him I was like, we got to wrestle. I said the ageless one versus the aging one. Like we always just joke about that.
Nah, Caprice is high on my list of people that I want to wrestle to, just to get that wisdom, man. Like Caprice is so smart when it comes to this business, man. Like I did a show up in North Carolina that he was kind of like the agent for, and he kind of produced
AIWF.
Huh?
Is that the AIWF?
Nah, it was a show called Wrestling Evolution.
Okay, I know what that is.
He was producing like all the matches or whatnot, and like he got our match, and he just looked at me. He was like, man, I know you can work. I just want to see what you do in front of this crowd. So like having that kind of green light from a guy like Caprice Coleman really like helped me realize like, dang, like I can really be somebody in this business if I want to, like if I want to be. And I have guys that are willing to invest in me and like give me that guidance. So like definitely shout out to Caprice, man. He's
definitely he's one of my mentors. This like I could tell you 3 guys. Only 2 of them I've wrestled, and the third one would be Caprice if I ever wrestle him. But Charles Skaggs or Too Cold Scorpio.
Oh yeah,
basically.
My goodness.
Yes.
Basically my idol. When I met him, I wrestled him in Tacoma, Wisconsin, probably like in 2010 or something like that. And we stayed at the same hotel, and we were eating, and we were talking, and we were just going over stuff with the match. And we just found out that we had so much in common. But then my man, and like I'm not a big and I'll say it like Chiba smoker, but like you only get one chance with your idol, and I will never ever ever smoke whatever he's brought with him from Florida again. Because mind you, it was a 17-hour drive. It was a 17-hour drive from me, my boy Anarchy, and his girl. We drove he came from Binghamton, New York to get me from Rochester. Then we went to Tacoma. And that was like a 17-hour drive. And then after the show was over, the next morning, Um, Charles knocks on the door. He's like, "Yo, we gotta wake and bake, bro." He's like, "I know you leaving." He said, "I gotta get on my flight." So whatever it is, I smoked with him. I slept the whole way home. I remember getting in the car, and I'm like, wake me up when y'all want me to take over driving. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't all take turns driving. This is a long drive. So then it's like I feel something shaking me and shaking me and shaking me, and I like sit up and I'm like, "Yo, my turn to drive." They're like, "Nah, which house is yours?" I'm like, "What?" They're like, "We're on your street. Where's the house?" And I'm like, "Bro, I just laid down." They're like, "Man, you've been asleep through like 5 stops." There's like you was asleep while we ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bro. And I'm like, "For real?"
That's crazy.
Bro, I don't know what he had, but like I am not doing it again, ever.
So I
Conscious, you
got,
said you had another question?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was gonna say, I got 2 parts for you after conscious.
Yes, thank you, Angel. So, also Tyreek, I mean, also D'Angelo. I'm so sorry. Blah. That means it's not, that means that he talking. That means that person's talking about me. Respectfully. So how do you plan on handling like injuries, setbacks, or even like burnouts? Like, how do you plan on handling this?
Uh, I I tend not to get burnt out. I'm getting to the point now where I'm not just staying on the road every weekend. I am recently married. So my wife and I have kind of made a little thing where I give her 1 weekend a month. 1 weekend where I'm home. We can do whatever she wants to do, and that's my time. But like, man, when I'm home, I'm home. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sitting. I'll literally just lay here, scroll through my phone, chat with my wife. We'll watch all the Medea plays and eat food and like just chill out. We just
Nice.
started a little garden, so like I'll do that, like do yard work and stuff. Like just just be home and like be present. And like I wanna like emphasize showing her that now. That way, like when it's time for us to start having kids, she knows that even though I'm on the road, like she can rely on me to come home and still do my part. So that keeps me from
Nice.
getting burnt out. Um, and it also like it keeps because like if your personal life's not going good, your wrestling life it can thrive, but it won't hit the same because like I've been there where like I've been going through stuff personally and like yeah, I was looking forward to wrestling on the weekend, but like it's cool temporarily, but like when I'm out of the building, it's just this is not it. You know what I'm saying? So like
Right.
I've experienced burnout before, but, like finding that balance really helped. Um, Now as far as
Does
like
she have an itch to get into the wrestling industry as your manager?
absolutely not. I've tried. I've
He
tried. She
immediately
say
shook his
that
head.
that's your thing. Like she likes wrestling. She loves watching me do it, but she don't want to do it.
So no Charmel and Booker T coming up and you and her anytime soon where she can like knock someone for trying to come at you?
I'll try to convince her. Maybe one day, like maybe like a little one-off thing, but as of now, she likes me in the back.
Nice. And
But the
my
good,
That's
last question,
awesome.
my last
good
question
key
to
you
you, real
said is
quick.
she's supportive.
Oh yeah, she's
True.
great.
And my last question to you, what kind of wrestler do you want to be? Like, are you looking to be more of a technical or like high flyer, or would you say a powerhouse?
I have no style, bro. I can do it all. Like my style is explosive. I literally said that earlier. Yeah, I when people ask me what my style is, I say explosive because I can do the powerhouse stuff. I can do the high flying. I can do the technical stuff. Like I can literally there. I don't think there's anything in wrestling that I can't do, or like any style of wrestling I can't do. Like there's stuff in wrestling I can't do because I can't do a reverse 450 even though I would love to do it one day. I just can't do it because forget that. Like that top rope when you get up there like it looks easy on TV, but when you get up there, it's like, oh damn, like I got to jump off of this now. You feel me? Like
Right.
so, but I'm confident that I can wrestle any style, and I can wrestle against people that wrestle any style. So
Nice. Well, God
Well,
bless you on your journey and your wrestling journey. Look to see you becoming a champion with a
word,
title
I
around your
appreciate
waist.
it.
You know what I'm saying? And I guess I'll let it go to Dan.
you
Word.
said, and this wasn't one of my questions, but only because you asked, you said, you could do any style. How big are you? Pause.
Um,
Taurus.
Hey, yo.
It's cool, Dan. It's cool, Dan.
Yo, that's
You
the.
can't take the
You
New
should have
York
said
out
how
of me. I'm
tall.
sorry.
If you want to pass on that question, I have
No.
another
I
question
mean,
that's
like,
not like that.
no. I mean, like tall, weight, or
I'm 6
it was
foot,
just
205.
combined it into one. Okay.
Yeah, he mean.
You eye with me. No. But the questions I had were is twofold in two different ways. One, what just for an inner workings type of thing. What do you do more? What do you like more as far as setting up your matches? Are you call it in the ring, or do you like pre-plan? And then the next question to follow that is on a fan level, because all of us technically, except for you and Mr. Entertainment right now, are just fans, though we want to get into. How do you feel about the level of discourse amongst fans and the fan that thinks that they know more than you?
Ooh, that's a good one. So to answer your first question, I'm comfortable with both. I feel like you gotta be comfortable with both nowadays. Like, because you can call everything down to the T, but if stuff goes off the rails, you gotta be able to work on the fly. Or if you call something that the crowd's not reacting to, you need to be able to work on the fly to be able to keep the crowd. Because you can go out there and hit your spots, but if the crowd's not reacting, then you're just doing your spots for yourself and you're bumping for no reason. I prefer to like have pinpoints. Because I can call out every single detail in a match and remember it and talk somebody through it. But I know a lot of guys, especially in my area, they're not gonna remember every little detail. So if I can have pinpoints of where I'm trying to get in a match, that way I can at least work around and like work on the fly to get to those pinpoints, then that's what I tend to do. And as far as those fans, man, like I don't necessarily I don't doubt people's knowledge of wrestling. Uh it's just the point where like if I'm trying to tell a fan something and they're ignorantly like, oh well, this is how it's supposed to be done, and like you haven't been in the ring and like done what we've done, like I'm a fan too at the end of the day. Like I've been a fan since I was 3 years old. Like I discovered wrestling on accident. I was in my mom's room. I was 3 years old. I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies, and there was a CD with a skull on it, and I thought it was a scary movie. It ended up being a Stone Cold Steve Austin home video, and it was the first thing I watched was him versus Bret Hart at Mania 13.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I found wrestling. You feel me? So like, I'm a fan as well. So like, I get having a fan perspective, and I respect the points that fans have. Now, if like. And I also take note of that because like if a fan comes up to me like let's say I'm at a show and a fan comes up to me and like they pitch something to me like, oh, like I think this would be cool if you did this. I'll ponder on it, but if it's something that I feel like as a fan myself I would be interested in, then I will implement it, because then that person becomes a fan for life and they feel like, oh, like I pitched that to him and he did it.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line as well too.
Just
like,
sitting here talking to this man, I'm probably about to jump in my car and head to my school and be like, I'm about to do like 8 bumps right now because I'm hyped.
So with 3 years in, so back to the point of the whole call in a match. With 3 years in, you feel comfortable being somewhat of the general in the ring, the lead dance partner is what I'm thinking of best.
Respectfully, I feel like even after my first year, I was comfortable with that, and that's because I got to work a lot of experienced guys off the bat. Like, dude, my 5th match was a tag team match against Anthony Henry, who's signed to Ring of Honor right now.
Yeah.
My 2nd match ever featured Anthony Green, who's been in WWE, who's been in Pro Wrestling Noah, he's pretty big in the Northeast. But it was him, me, and my tag partner versus Sean Legacy, who y'all see blowing up on Evolve and NXT right now, and his tag partner. So like that match was literally the night after my debut. So like I got to work with a lot of these guys that have been in the business for a long time. And I've worked all of the like the local vets or whatnot in my area multiple times. So like I feel like I can go anywhere and like carry if I need to. But I like being
Nice.
able
So
to get
what?
in the ring with vets
I'm sorry.
and like be guided through, but also show them like, hey, I understand like you're the vet, but you know, we both can lead this dance. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. So while I transfer, I want to ask this last point to Mr. Entertainment while I'm transporting myself home, and I'm gonna keep listening. Mr. Entertainment, like besides you being inspired to go take a bump, like how do you feel about hearing like this level of confidence when it comes to commanding a match from somebody with 3 years in?
I feel
Hey,
like
I could tell you. I could tell you right now. I had the same student named Sean Carr. Sean Carr started in MMA. He transferred over into wrestling. Um, by Sean's third month, he was already in Jersey wrestling like names. He was already going against because I do believe Gino knows like Nunzio, and he was already going against that. So Sean, it's like when you see that confidence in someone, the only thing that can really break that young man's confidence right now is if he steps in the ring with a vet that purposely wants to humble him. But if that vet sees, okay, this kid can run with me, pat him on the back, let the promoter know that kid's going places. There's a whole downside to that. There's some guys, like everybody knows in wrestling, that you got some of the guys that come in that they've done ring crew, and then they feel that because they've gotten 3 matches in that they ain't got to do ring crew no more. They're just, I'm a vet now. I paid my dues. You never stop paying dues.
The guy that New Jack poked up.
I made a
You know what
I
I'm
made
saying?
a
You never stop paying your dues. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
I made a personal pact with myself that I don't care whether it's 10, 20 years from now, I'm always gonna have a hand in setting up and tearing down the ring.
Exactly.
For my safety alone, because every ring is different. Like I
Facts.
might get in somebody's ring and like their boards are shifted, and I've watched people get paralyzed off of like boards not being right, like boards sitting up when they need to be flattened, or like spaces in the padding or whatnot, like or ropes being broken. You feel me? Like
Yeah.
I take pride in being a part of ring crew and setting up, tearing
That's
down.
that's that's like another part of my training. And like my first day of training, the first day, I had everyone come to like the school and had the students there, and I had this big tarp, and when I removed it, it was the parts to the ring. And they all looked at me and was like, "Why ain't the ring set up?" I'm like, "Cause y'all gonna learn how to set it up and take it down."
That's how it should be.
I said,
I might have to come train with you.
And that's what I see. That's what I love about the process up from the beginning, because it seems like the good, true, reputable schools always has everybody humble themselves and start from that bottom. And it's like I like what you just said, D'Angelo, and then Angel has a hand up next. But I like what you said with the whole everybody builds a ring different, because I just watched briefly a live of somebody setting up the ring, and the padding was like those Lego piece put together like gym mats.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, everybody does something different, and some rings are gonna be harder than others. Some rings are gonna definitely, you can see too much bounce in them, or the ropes are too slack.
or you tighten the
And again,
ropes
this
up
is
too
just
much
from,
in the
this is me
post
talking from
bending.
a standpoint. Yeah, like, and again, this is like 40 plus years of fandom, but you don't know me enough to know that, like, I tell the brothers and sisters here all the time, I watch from a technical, I'm watching like football game tape standpoint. So I look from a fan level of how the sausage is made type of fandom. Like I
Paul.
try to tightly watch closely how, how just the little details to things are. So yeah, man, I think, as Michael Jordan said, the sky's the limit and the ceiling is the roof for you.
Hey, Angel, I know you had your hand up, but light skin hasn't talked in a while. You got anything for him, light skin?
I'm just soaking up a lot of this information right now. So, Angel, go ahead.
Light
This
skin,
will
I
be
want
my
you to
last
remember this
question because
conversation.
4:30 comes real quick. So, and it's almost 9:30 here. So going back to your whole battle thing that you like to do, your battle rap, when your eyes like got all sparkly and stuff when we mentioned that. So WWE versus AEW, and you're feeling it. Which one do you think you're going to gravitate to, considering you have wrestled many individuals already that are going from Evolve into NXT in the future and LFG, and then you said you wrestled some people on the other side, and then they do more international. What are you feeling right to dabble your toe in if you were given an opportunity?
See the little kid in me, the 3 4 year old fan in me says like, hey, you gotta go to WWE. So like as a child, that was the goal. But
Yeah.
I mean, I I can't really put one over the other right now because I feel like both will give me my end goal of being financially stable. Uh, I feel like I will be a better character and develop a better character going to WWE, but I feel like I would just be able to go and have more banger matches at AEW, honestly.
Do you feel like the creativity door is kind of open more with AEW now that you've seen like Ricochet crossover and become this crazy heel? Like it's almost like American Psycho. It's just crazy right now. And then seeing Kevin Knight enter and seeing like the difference from Swerve transferring from NXT over to this AEW Swerve, is that kind of making like wow, like this could definitely, the creative door seems to be more open there.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think with both, I feel like I've made friendships with enough people on both sides to like kind of get my footing and be able to be a character in any setting. Uh, but like I love that you mentioned Kevin Knight because like I said earlier, like I met Kevin when he had first broke out, like when he was doing the whole Young Lion program with New Japan, and like a lot of people don't know Kevin was the first Black Young Lion, and
Yeah.
I met him. New Japan did a show in Charlotte that I was doing ring crew and extra work for, and they had me doing security on like the at the top of the arena or whatnot, and bro just came and sat down next to us up there at the top and watched the show for like the first half, and like we just got to talking because like he played football as well, and we just hit it off, and he was like, all right, I'll be back, and like I was sitting there with my boy, and I was like, that dude was cool, man. Like I don't even know who he was, but he was just really cool, really down to earth. Didn't even know
Oh,
he was.
that's so cool.
Didn't even know he was a wrestler. Like, I thought he was just a fan that came and sat up with us to watch the show. Next thing I know, this Joker's walking down the ramp, and like I was like, wait, that was dude that was just sitting up here with us. And then like he goes out and has a great match, and then he just casually comes into a jumpsuit and sits with us as if nothing happened. So now I look at him and I'm like, bro, at what point were you gonna tell us you were on the show?
Like, that's crazy. I hope you do come out to Arizona because Mustafa Ali was the first show I took my nephew to in March. And he spoke to my nephew for a good 20 minutes and was just connecting with this 9-year-old who was just like, oh my God, I'm talking to a star. And that's like, I love that perspective and stuff. And then he did this incredible match with Cosmo and was just so excited and met with my nephew again afterwards. But FSW is another one in Las Vegas, so I hope you can go. That was Chris Bay. Chris Bay went there.
Yes.
And it's just, like amazing to be able just to have the opportunity to talk to you. So I really hope you make it out here. I would love to like shake your hand and introduce you to the new stars that are coming up over here that I'm talking to.
I have a friend of mine that she used to train out here, but she works out there. I don't know if she works for that company or not, but she's a ring announcer. Her name's Callie. She's a taller blonde lady.
Is she in Arizona?
Yeah, she's based out of Arizona.
That's probably her. I probably have pictures of her in my phone from introducing everybody. I'll have to look and then I'll send you a message.
Sparkly dress.
Who are you doing that to, Darkwing? You know we could see you, right?
Yeah, I'm doing that to you.
I got a question for D'Angelo right quick.
Real quick. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great night. And D'Angelo, it was great talking with you.
Likewise.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for supporting us and everything.
Of course. Always. You guys are my guys.
Yo, I wanted to tap in real quick. Like TJ is on the panel right now, and I wanted to hear his take on some of the stuff that has been spoken about so far. He's also a professional wrestler as well.
Don't
Some
go
of my
too
best
deep.
matches with
Don't
TJ.
go too deep in it. Go too deep in it because he wants to come up on an interview with us one day too, Bar. So don't go too deep because we gotta have some stuff for TJ also.
He
But
said he had a
TJ
question
did
for you
say
too.
in the chat that he did have a question for D'Angelo too.
Yeah, that's what I
So
was referring to. Yeah.
Hey,
Yo, but
also,
hold
if
up,
y'all,
hold
if
up,
y'all
hold
haven't
up,
taken
hold
it
up,
out
hold
yet,
up, hold up, hold up. Darkwing. It pause. It shouldn't matter how deep somebody goes because as a good interviewer, you will develop the talents to give a fresh interview later, no matter what gets asked tonight. So that's just a
fair
little
enough. Fair
words of
enough.
encouragement for you.
Bars.
I hear you. Fair enough.
Once you sharpen your
bars for real.
skills, it won't matter what will be said tonight. You'll be able to give something fresh later.
That's bars for real. Hey,
Fair enough. Fair
if
enough.
y'all haven't though,
Hey, y'all know that I'm still new to this. I'm still working on it. That's why I tell Dan every single time I've had a live, Dan has come on and told me something, and I've taken it. So y'all, if y'all have any critiques, I know Bars will talk to me probably later on or tomorrow. Shoot me a text or something. So if y'all have any critiques, man, feel free to let me know.
hell yeah. But like I said, if y'all haven't though, it's on my YouTube channel. The match of TJ and I, go check that out. I feel like that's one of my favorite matches that I've had this year. I think it was the first match I had this year, matter of fact. But we tore it up.
Absolutely. TJ, what you got?
Listen, I'm just taking in the information.
Oh, to let me jump in with my question.
Hold on, real quick. Walter, did you have anything for D'Angelo or TJ?
For D'Angelo, hey D'Angelo, congratulations on all your success and
Thank
your
you.
future success, my brother. My question is to you: What was the most? Oh wait, never mind. Not that question. The type of question. What type of match was fulfilling to you that you actually told your whole story in a single match?
I had a match with this guy who's a vet in my area. His name's Drew Adler. He was leaving my home promotion, but was supposed to be for good. And he had been the champion there for like the last 5 years or whatnot. So like as his last match out, the show before this one, they asked him live like who he wanted to face. And he was like, give me D'Angelo. So it was kind of like a
Okay.
passing of the torch type story.
Mhm.
And man, like that match is one of those matches that I refuse to go back and watch because the reaction that we got and the story that we told, like I feel like if I go back and watch it, I'm gonna critique it, and it's not gonna be as special as it was that night. But like from that point moving forward, like that match taught me how to just go out there and not run my spots, but go out there and tell a story and engage the crowd because we had grown men on their feet in tears after that match.
Wow.
So like,
Yeah. It goes for TJ as well. Same question for D'Angelo and for TJ.
So I have not really had a match that has like a very deep story until just recently, and that was with D'Angelo.
I was about to say, I was about to
So
light you up. I was about to say.
so we have
Promo battle.
yeah we have this thing going uh this one promotion, and this is my first like in-depth storyline, which is like kind of like I wouldn't say funny, but like fate is a crazy thing because D'Angelo and myself actually like train at the same like place, and
Right.
like
Nah,
traveled roads like together
I'm gonna stop you
before
for a
I
second.
debuted.
I'm gonna stop you for a second, TJ. I just want to point out too while we're on here, like when I first got into training, like I told y'all before, like I just went through a bad episode in my life, and like I was very socially awkward, and I got to say that TJ was one of the first people when I got to my training school. He was one of the first people to like take me in and like kind of encourage me and like be that helping hand for me. So like I give TJ a lot of crap. I talk trash to him all the time, but like man, like I'll never tell him to his face, so I'll tell him on here with all of y'all as witnesses. Like I'm forever grateful for TJ. Like he during the highs and lows, like TJ's always like been there. So
And that's dopeness because the thing about that is like in my years of wrestling, like you will always have that one person. It may be a handful, it may just be one, but there's always going to be that one person that no matter what, they got you. And if it's like that between you and him, keep it just like that. Because I got one. You will. And wrestlers know this. You can know 5 million wrestlers and only be friends with like 4 of them.
That's really.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I started my wrestling early, 1999. I'm a fossil. You know what I'm saying? So I've met so many guys along the way, but I could say on a handful, like with one hand open, that I got probably like 5 friends in the wrestling business. These are guys that when I stopped wrestling called me, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Hey, you still want to go do that? Hey, come to this show or watch me, and I want you to come and do this seminar here, and I need you to go do that. You know, stay like them the type of people like that. I've known these guys for like 25 plus years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I love that bond that you and him already. Stop barking at me. You'll get a treat. Sorry.
I wonder what that was.
No, that was my dog. I got a little Frenchie. She's just staring at me. But no, but it's like those are the type of people that like throughout your career, got your back. And I loved how y'all just showed that right then and there. You was like, look, a lot of people don't know this, but when I walked in, this man just looked at me and said, hey, we good. This is where we stop. This is where we start and we'll never stop. So that's beautiful in itself.
Yo, Mr. Entertainment, I got a question for you after. I'm gonna let TJ finish on his point, but I got a question for you afterwards.
Okay.
I forgot what I was saying.
Are you just talking about us being on the road or whatnot?
Oh yeah, like being on the road traveling, like this has been like years. Like I think I want to say it was it 2020 closer to 2021. Uh yeah, we just like he just came up to the school and just hit it off. And next thing you know, we're traveling roads together. We've been like all the way up to Philly and DC, uh, and currently now just doing the whole thing at the promotion in Georgia. And
He's
it's
talking about PWE, the promotion when y'all asked me
PWE,
earlier.
yeah.
Yeah. Place.
And like also it's a thing where this place right here is where I actually started growing more. Uh, I kind of had a situation where I just had to like just start from the beginning, and this has been like that place, and just having people like knowing a lot of people in wrestling, but then having like real friends in wrestling. This is where that comes into play because it's like you can know 100 people, but 100 people don't give a damn about you, like the 5 people you have in your corner.
It's just like
So yeah,
social media interaction. Just like
yeah,
social media interaction. You could have 100,000 followers, but only get 5 people liking all your content.
yeah, and it's
But
just
yo, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
oh, you
sorry about
good.
that.
It's just a thing, like especially in wrestling, you can't like keep thinking about everyone else. You just got to start thinking about the people yourself and the people who came along with you, who never switched up on you.
Thanks.
That's a life lesson right there. But I just wanted to side note before you go again, D'Angelo. I just wanted to give you props because you had your cameraman up here before. I like that because that's what you're setting yourself different from a lot of people when it comes to that. Consistently documenting your journey and your travels, that's gonna be a big thing that I think will help you and help you get seen even further. because I doubt there's a lot of people that took that kind of initiative to consistently document what they're doing and what's going along, what's going on within said journey. So man, so salute to you on riding with that kind of idea.
Word. And like, yeah, man, like outside of TikTok, like if y'all check out my social media, like especially my Instagram, I tell people all the time that my Instagram is a picture book of my life from ninth grade up to this point because I've had that Instagram page since ninth grade. So you can literally scroll all the way back down to the bottom, and you can see my life from 14 all the way up to 25 now. Well, about to be 25. So I go back sometimes and like reflect on my life, and like I'm glad that I like took the time to take these pictures and like post them, and, like just continuously like tell my story. So like if y'all get a chance, like definitely go check out my Instagram because my Instagram is literally just a storybook of my life. So, but yeah, so Mr. Entertainment, with you having a wrestling school, and this is just a question that I've had because I've seen it a lot in my area. I feel like seminars are a lost art, and I've been to a lot of good seminars, but I've also realized that the best seminars I've done were not with the big names. It was more of like the local names or guys that were just really good and knew their stuff.
You know what I'm saying? But like we knew about them on the indie scene, and we knew that their fed was good, so we went there. Yeah, I did the Glenn Spectra. A lot of y'all probably don't know who that is, but this man has like traveled all over the world. Back. I hate sounding old when I say back in my day. I gotta use that line. Like back when most of y'all were still in middle school and getting free lunch in the summer. But like I went to Glenn Spectra. I did one with Danny Doring. I did one with there's like so many Hellcat who basically out in Rochester. This is where Brody Lee or Luke Harper was at, and I got to share a locker room with that man for a lot of years, and I always went to him and I asked him questions and asked him things. There were a lot of guys out here. Even though I'm not friends with the guy anymore, there's a guy out in Rochester right now named Tiger Smith. Phenomenal when it comes to training. I think he's second best to me, but that's just my theory. But like,
and like I said, man, it's not something to like stroke my ego or anything, but like I just feel like the more and more that's given back to me. And this is one thing that Alex Kane told me. Like he called me the day after I debuted at MLW, and he ended up messaging me. He was like, "Hey man, like just don't forget to give back."
Yeah.
So like he's always dropping knowledge on me. Like I have a lot of guys that are always dropping knowledge on me. So if I can do that for the next generation of talent, like I would love to do that. You feel me?
I've never told anyone what to do in their career, and I've had a lot of people come and ask me like questions similar to yours, and I'm like, if you feel it, do it. And I hate to quote the late great Notorious B.I.G., but only make moves if your heart's in it.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? Because like if you don't feel right, don't do it. And that was my problem as a wrestler when like I said, when I was coming in, and thank God that some of y'all black wrestlers ain't had to go through the problems I had, because at one point someone wanted me to do and I have nothing against people who like the same gender, let me put it that way, but they wanted me to do this guy. He was from Revenge of the Nerds called Lamar, and I was like, nah, I ain't doing that. They was like, well,
never forget Lamar.
I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. And they're like, come on, it sells. I'm like, I got kids. I don't feel right doing that with my children sitting in the audience and me coming out, in this and the neckerchief. I'm like, I don't do it. That company was like, well, you can leave. I was like, okay, bet. Always make sure. And I take it from Caprice Croman, where he's like, he will never stop being who he is just to get that dollar. And in his song More Than a Conqueror, if anybody's ever heard it, it's on YouTube. That's my workout jam. I'm gonna keep it real.
I got it in my workout playlist too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? More than a conqueror. And he comes up there and he says, I can only be me. I'm not going to sacrifice who I am to make sure you're happy. Be who you are. If you say, hey, I want to come out, I feel I can show these kids a little bit more things on how to wrestle in front of a camera or how to do this, how to do that, bro, do it. If you feel it's necessary, and yeah, you're gonna be able to weed out who's for you and who's against you just because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because like when I came up, when I was working this company, that company, and this company, then I had friends talking about, yo, why don't you pull me over up in there? And I'm like, I don't run it. I just work there. And there's always going to be them people that be like, yo, we should travel the road. We should do this. We should do that. And then you bring in an extra. Then the promoter ends up not liking that person and letting them go. And then they feel you should leave.
Yeah, because that's your name at the end of the day.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah. That's one thing I run into a lot, especially nowadays. Like, man, I have guys that, like, man, I had a promoter who's also a worker who flew me in, paid for my hotel and everything. Had a good match, had a good show, and then after the show, he calls me to his office and he's like, "Hey, man, I hope you know that I did this because like I need a favor from you." And like in so many words, he was trying to like get me to get him on MLW, and I was like, "Bro, like." You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit happened out of a whim for me. Like, I don't have the power to just get you booked because I'm not booked consistently there. You feel me? Like, so I can't make that happen for you. And, like, that's one thing I ran into a lot. So, I mean, I kind of pick and choose my car rides. I pick and choose my conversations when it comes to stuff like that. And, like, there's no love lost because I want to see everybody succeed, man. But, like don't try to, like, leech off of people or butter
you as the Uber. Got you.
And like that's why I travel with Dalton, my photographer, and I travel with TJ because I know I can be in the car with them, and whether we show up and they get booked or not, they're gonna be content. But like I vividly remember one of the first times TJ and I rode together. Like we went up to West Virginia, and I like. They ended up putting TJ on, and he had a really good match, and we both made connections. And like I just remember how good that felt because like he didn't go up there with the mindset of like, oh, I'm just gonna leech off D'Angelo to get on. Like he went up there and he made a name for himself, and that's what got him put on. Like
that's yeah, because like a lot of that when I was coming through, it was like. Now it's like 2 or 3 wrestlers that ride together. Before it used to be like 12, 13 people renting a van and one person with the spot. Well, right. I brought these guys and I told them that you would, and I'm like, yeah, see, that's why a lot of people don't like me because they be like, you think you can get me in because I heard, and I'm like, okay, let me tell you like this. I will tell the promoter about you. What he does with that information is what he does with it. Right. I'm not going to vouch for you, and then you come there and then you do a completely screw job or whatever the case may be, and then he's looking at me like, well, I brought him in. It's like when you get your friend a job with you and he think because you his friend he can just do what he want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come in when he wants, say what he want, do what he want. And I'm like, it don't work like that, bro. Because once you get fired or let go, they look at me like, should we let him go too? Because he brought us this piece of garbage.
Yo, that sounded like some rap shit right there. Like the one person who gets a deal and then the whole hood is looking for them to take them out the hood.
That's why I said music. That's why I said music and wrestling are so much alike, and people have never made that thought. I'm like, if you look at music, it's the same way. My niece started out shooting videos, for a lot of rappers, and she figured that's gonna up her portfolio. And I was like, no, start charging these cats. Right. That's gonna up your portfolio. Start charging them. Stop saying, okay, I'll shoot it if you give me the credits. No. You want money. You don't want credit.
Right.
That's what you want.
They respect you more. They respect you more that way. I went through the same thing. Like, not to cut you off, but I do graphic design. I also do music and a lot of other stuff on the side, And a lot of the artists from the area, if I was shooting a vid or drawing a handmade logo from scratch and doing all this stuff, they'll want me to do it for free. Oh yeah, I know you rap, you whatever. I'll do a song with you, this and that. I was like, nah, man, I want money, bro. I want money, man. I take time and effort to do this. I need to get paid, you know what I mean? And they don't like that. They don't like that. So next thing you know, they cut me off and whatever like that, you know. So
And then they start talking about you and putting the bad word out about you. It's like ain't nothing different between music
Just
and wrestling.
That's my
just a
opinion.
little pushback though, because I've dabbled in a lot of different avenues and shit. And in the beginning, if you're not compromising your talent, it doesn't hurt to get your reps up for free. Yes, everybody's end goal is to get paid, but you can't just step out there looking to get paid with nothing in your background, nothing in your portfolio,
True.
as you said. So you got to get your reps up somehow, but you can't give it away to everybody. That's where the key is.
And you absolutely right. You absolutely right. Like I was saying before, before that, I went to school for this stuff. I had did internships for Disney. Like I got a whole portfolio full of stuff. So I already had like people vouching for me as far as like what I do with video work and what I was doing with artwork. So as soon as I try to go out there and charge a fee, they try to look at me like I was crazy. But you see who I worked with, like my talents don't go for free, and that's when I had to start putting my foot down. Even till this day, I'm the same exact way. Like I hear what you're saying, Dan. I respect everything that you're saying, but for
No,
me, for me, I've been doing this. I've literally been doing this artwork and everything that I've been doing. I've literally been doing for like 20 plus years. And like I don't care if I don't get like maybe one or two customers. At least I know those one or two customers that come back to me, they're gonna pay me for what I'm worth, and they're not gonna
and
complain what I charge. You
So
the
they
know?
gonna go
difference
by word of mouth and put your name out there. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the difference though in what you said is your reps was via those internships. Your reps was school. So of course you have every right to step out because you can lay your resume out and say, I worked for Disney. I've done stuff for Disney. And then I'm not just saying that because Disney is the name, is a big name, but you did the internships. You put your reps in that way. You paid your tuitions that way. I'm talking for like the person like me who is self-taught on a lot of avenues. Like I've done photography, I did video, I've DJed. I started DJing way back in like '96, I think I started, or '95. But like I started with small shit, some small paying gigs, or just I shot a video for my boy, my homie Links, who he paid me. I asked him for nothing because I never shot and edited a video before. So I was like, you know what? I'll take this opportunity to try to see what I can do. You know what I'm saying? And so, somebody who doesn't have the pedigree going into it, like you, them one or two gigs in the beginning, three or four to get your feet wet, it don't hurt to have something that you can get to the masses. But you have the reps of internship, and that hits different. So yeah, you can't just go out there and just get nothing for all the hard work and dedication you put into prior to. But again, just my pushback was just a small pushback of it doesn't hurt sometimes if you don't have the classically trained levels that you do, bars, in getting on.
Yeah, I definitely understand. That just hit a note when Mr. Entertainment was talking about that because like
Ah, word.
I dabbled in this, and it's kind of the reason why I don't do business with a lot of folks in my area, like because like I know already they're gonna be looking for something for free. So everything that y'all see me do, yeah. So everything that y'all see me do, whether it comes to the wrestling content and everything, I edit and do everything myself. I just got tired of like trying to like, trying to branch out and do this and do that when I know every time I turn around they're gonna be asking for something for free. It just got tiring. And like with me, everything that I've asked for, I've paid for it. I never asked nobody, oh, yo, that's too much money, or that's this, or that's that. I paid them what they were worth. I just paid for something not too long ago. And you know what I mean? I never complained about it. Not that it was costly or anything, but he charged me a fee and I paid him for it. So you know what I mean? Like
Facts.
you just gotta know your worth. You know, it goes a long way. And that's why, you know, when you said that, it hit home for me. I was like, oh man. So I get
I
That's
it.
know how
all.
that
That's
feels
all
because,
facts.
like
That's
I was
all
saying,
facts right there.
I got a niece that's been in the music, and like maybe like a third of the way through my career, I started asking her to make my intro music for me. She's like, all right, I'll do it for you, Uncle Junior. And I was like thinking I gotta give my niece like $50. That girl came back and told me 500. And I was like, you hot? I'm but 500? I was like, can I get a discount? She's like, what you think that is? I was like, oh, oh, my bad. Well, you know what?
And
You
she's still
do
on business though.
exactly. I'm like, you do hot work. You work with a lot of cats like Chris Rivers. You did a track for him and with him, and you've been on a billboard and all this other mess. You've been on 50cent.com for upcoming producer and all this other mess. I'm like, you know what? It's worth that. So here. And then like for the longest, then after like, because I call myself Mr. Entertainment. So if anybody used to watch Entertainment Tonight with that song, she completely flipped that whole shit, like hooderized it. Like it was like and I was like, you did this? She's like, man, I made this in like 20 minutes. And I was like, but I gave you $500 for 20 minutes. She was like, money well spent. And then like when a lot of wrestlers start hearing like, who did that? Who did that for you? I'm like, oh, my niece. Oh, what's her name? So then she started doing stuff for my friends over in the UK. And she started doing stuff for my friends over in Canada. And now it's like Unleashed Music is like one of the hottest things upcoming in Brooklyn right now.
That's fire.
So it's like you gotta like when like if we flip it to wrestling, like everybody has a fee. But like if me and D'Angelo went to a show and I just automatically told the promoter, pay me what you pay him. You think he gonna do that? No. He not gonna do that. Whatever D make,
Appreciate
I'm
you
not
for coming up, light skin.
I'm
You're
not gonna
always
pay.
welcome when I'm live, bro.
You know, so it's like
Yeah,
when it
appreciate you,
comes to
bro.
money, in the business, a lot of these wrestlers like to think that they're above certain standards. You know what I'm saying? Because I come back from a time where, you know, I would drive from Syracuse to Jersey, which was like 5 hours, and get $20.
Right.
And then and trust me, it was like it's costing me more to get there. I'm like, you know how much tolls are going from like Syracuse to like freaking Jersey, or especially on the New York Turnpike. I'm
I
like, y'all
just
know how
drove
much.
through the New Jersey Turnpike. So trust, I know.
So I'm like,
So my
so
take on, especially like from a wrestling standpoint, my take on like charging people is like if it's my first time at a promotion, I'll tell the promoter straight up, like, hey, this is my first time here. I'm trying to get my foot in the door. Like, I'm gonna do this show at your rate, whatever you see fit for me. Now, if I impress you and you talk about bringing me in the future, then we can talk about the rate that I charge and see if we can agree on something because I'm flexible with my rate. But like, I make sure that I go the first time and earn my keep and earn what I'm gonna ask for later. So that way, when they look back and they're like, "Oh, well, dang, this kid really can't work." So yeah, I can afford to do a little more for him now. You feel me? Like,
yeah,
and that's worked in my favor. I mean, there's some shows where like I've done the shows for free because I reached an agreement with the promoter where it's like, hey, if you're flying me out, which I mean, I broke it down to him like this. I was like, hey man, I'll send him a flight. This flight, I'll drive 3 hours to Atlanta to catch this flight to go to your promotion. If you pay for the flight and the hotel, the flight's $60. You get me the hotel closest to the venue or closest to the airport. I'll do the show
yeah,
for free.
yeah. Back in my day, we not that we couldn't do that, but like a lot of people like wanted you to pay your way to get there, and I was just like, I started turning around, and a lot of people started doing the same way I did. I'd be like, look, I would tell a lot of promoters, I'm like, they was like, you know, what's your go rate? I'm like, first of all, like you said, you know, I'm open to that, but I said, but also what's not open to that is my car. I said, which takes gas, which takes money. So if I'm coming from Like when I went to Bennington, Vermont, which is about like 6 to 8 hours, I told him, I said, I'm gonna need at least 100 for gas. That was just me. I said, what you want from me, we'll negotiate that. I said, but my car is non-negotiable. I said, because that's got to get me there, and I'm putting miles on that. And once I started doing that, so did half of upstate New York. They were like, oh, word? I was driving to Jersey for $10. I'm like, bruh, no.
But yo, I gotta
driving.
run too. I gotta run too, man. I just wanted to close out and say thanks to y'all brothers. As always, Darkwing, I'm waiting for my opportunity like you did with the brothers the other day.
Hey, listen,
D'Angelo,
real quick.
yo,
Angel said that she wanted to get
with
on
me
with
too.
you.
No,
Yeah.
but not I want mine separate, but I'm gonna come help tag team Angels.
Okay.
But
Well, I don't know
D'Angelo,
if you know
TJ,
this or not. Me and my wife are going on a cruise
yeah,
at
you
the end of
mentioned
next
that.
week. So,
You
okay,
mentioned that.
cool.
But just the props to D'Angelo. I hit the follow before you and your cameraman.
Yeah, I
TJ,
did
you
that.
came on a little later too, but props to you, young brothers, for real, man. Like I getting to talk to y'all has been dope tonight, and I just can't wait to see the further success. And keep me posted on the New York show, cause man, the universe knows I've been trying to at least find the time to get to whatever, but being that I work 4 to 12, it's absolutely difficult for me to get to anything. Like I've been trying to even plan my own shit for my podcast because we were celebrating 10 years this year, and I haven't set up a fucking event yet like I wanted to.
Word.
So I would try my best to see if I could get to your New York show, just like I want to get to every other shit out here. But you know what I'm saying? Just again, man, much success to y'all young brothers. And like I said before, as Michael Jordan said, the sky's the limit and the ceiling is the roof. Which take that as however, because it just sounded crazy when he said it. But you know what I'm saying? But real talk, man, this was dope, y'all. Thank you.
I
Nah, thank you,
appreciate you,
bro.
Dan. You always welcome when I go live, bro.
I want to say something before I get off because like I just got an Xbox text. My crew's about to be on. We got to play 2K25. I am a big kid. I'm gonna say that, but
Hey,
like
man, you only as old as you feel, bro.
And
uh,
video
Age ain't
games
nothing but
is
a
life.
number.
Video
it's,
games is life.
I tell every time I'm in the headset and they be like, "Man, how old is you?" I'm like, "I've been doing this since EA Sports was in the game." And that's
That's real.
Oh
That's real.
God.
I'm like, y'all don't know about NBA Live '95 and the first alley oop game that came out. Y'all don't know nothing about
Facts,
They
that.
don't know
facts.
nothing
I
about
had
that,
that
bro.
joint.
They don't know
I
nothing about
had
that.
that joint, man. I had it.
They don't know about the double dribbles and the Magic Johnson fast break. They don't know
Yeah.
about that.
They don't know nothing about the
The
arch
regular
rivals.
Nintendo, son.
Nah,
Arch
NBA
rivals.
Jam. Arch
The
Rivals was
NBA
for them boys.
Jam, son. The NBA Jam. Come on.
Is it the
Y'all sound
shoes?
like me. Y'all sound like me when I be at work telling my kids about NBA courtside on the GameCube.
Or not? I
My
had that
phone.
on Nintendo 64. So I know what you're talking about.
I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
No,
courtside
because
too.
like I showed my son, because like my kids came up with like the Xboxes and the PlayStation era. So when I showed him a Nintendo, he was like, "Why I got two buttons?"
They don't know
Like,
nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that.
you don't know what it's like to
Most of
beat
us are
Mario Brother on 3 lives. You don't know.
most of us,
Oh,
other
Right.
than D'Angelo and I think TJ, are either pushing 40 or over. I know Mr. Entertainment's almost 50, but most of us either pushing 40
Thanks
or
for
are
my
40.
age plug. All right.
Yeah, I got you, Mr. Entertainment. I got you.
I will be 49 May 31st.
word. Word. That's what's up. I
And
think TJ's got me about 3
Well, if I
years.
don't get to talk to you between now and then, happy birthday to you.
Same.
man, my kids keep asking me, "Dad, what you want to do?" I said, "I want to do the one thing y'all never gave me my whole life. I want y'all to bring me gifts, leaves, and let me play my video game. That's it.
Damn, there it is.
Get me some VC. I don't want much. I don't ask for much. I ain't y'all. Get me some VC. Go pay to get me a haircut. Probably take me to Dave and Buster's so I can play some video games or whatever the case may be." I said, "Then leave me alone." And they just all staring at me like, "You don't want to spend the day with us?" I'm like, "I spent 18 to 20 years with all of y'all. I'm good.
that's
I'm
facts right
good."
there.
But nah,
I have to
before I
look
get
at
off,
y'all's
I just
asses
want to
every
tell
day.
yeah, I just want to tell D'Angelo, man, look, I can already tell by talking to you, you're very humble. Stay that way. I can already tell no matter how successful you're gonna be, and I know you're gonna be successful, you and TJ, just by how y'all are, and it's gonna turn into one of them like classic things where y'all gonna be in opposite feds, then be in the same one, and it's gonna be televised, and y'all gonna be like, yo, we've been wrestling each other for like 15 years, bro. Let's give them a show. It's like Ricochet and Osprey.
That's gonna be crazy too.
Without
Like,
the flippy do stuff, you know. But
oh,
even though I
chemistry,
love it, but
our chemistry is insane, bro. Like,
Mr. Entertainment's not a fan of the flippy stuff.
I am a fan of it. I used to do the flippy stuff, and then I realized that at a young age, if you do the flippy stuff every match, by the time you're in your mid-young age, you ain't got no knees.
There it is.
Yeah, I only pull it out when I need it.
You know, exactly. I didn't learn that till like, you know, I started like, what, 21? I didn't realize that till 26 when my knees start going out at 26. I'm like, they're like, what you gonna do? You gonna do that backflip? Nah. You gonna do that 450? Nah. What you gonna do? You gonna give me a backdrop and I'm laying on my feet, and that's the extent of my high flying.
Right.
I'm like, that's the extent of it. That's you're not gonna do that other thing? Nope. Why? Because I'm not. Because the one thing you gotta learn is that when you're a wrestler, you gotta be in the gym. You gotta keep your body as nimble as possible. But when you get up to my age, you're just like, look, I got 8 minutes. It's gonna be a 7-minute interest in a 1-minute match.
There you go.
How are we taking it home? You're gonna clothesline me, and I'm just going to sleep. Let's get it done. But nah, man, I can see right now, and I've watched. I was just literally watching on like my other phone, like your matches, and I'm like, you are very on point, timing, selling, all of that. That is now I see why you want to pass along what you have to young. Even though you are young, you want to pass it on to the next generation. Because for me, you are my next generation, but you want to pass it on to the generation that's going to come after you. And I see that, and that's good. So like, yeah, I ain't got no problem with saying, yo, you want to come down and show them what you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what do you mean? You know, so but we'll talk about that off here. But yeah, man, it's like, if anything, I know a lot of promoters out here that are real cool, and I'll put you on to them. My man just did a show yesterday. He just crowned his first tag team champions. He just started his Fed like a year ago, and he's doing well. He's working cities and towns now, and he's like traveling with the company, so he's doing pretty freaking good. I'm gonna put your name out there to him, 'cause he stays in tune to everything wrestling. So plus he was my tag team partner like umpteen years ago, and I just recently went to one of his shows, probably like 4 or 5 months ago, and I brought my son. He just looked at my son and was like, "That's the baby?" I was like, "That's the baby." How old is he now? 20. When I met him, he was 2 weeks old. Yeah, we old.
Crazy.
So yeah, man. And TJ, man, you got a good one right there. D-Lo, you got a good one right there. Keep that bond regardless of what. And never, ever, ever. And I've seen this business destroy friendships way too many times. Way too many times. Keep each other's backs. Watch each other's six. Because if you ain't got nothing else, he got you and you got him. That's how I live with life. Like I said, I know a ton of wrestlers from all over the world, but I can only say 5 of them would ever jump in the trenches with me and be like, we got you. Everybody else is in it for themselves. And I'm glad y'all are returning the business back to the business and not trying to catch these enormous egos. Because like I said, we all know that one student that trains once a week. And I've trained guys that have got crazy talent, but no heart. And I would rather train a kid with all heart with no talent than train a guy with all talent and no heart. And that's just me.
That's real.
I'm sorry if I start preaching. I sound like my father.
Oh, no, man. That's what we're here for.
And that's the kind of stuff that you can take outside of wrestling too. Like no matter what you're doing in life, like me, I turn on natural gas at people's houses all day long. That's the kind of stuff I can carry with me. Like, and at bars, his job, he can. It just doesn't matter. It can go anywhere. So that's a life lesson for everybody.
Pretty much, man. Because like I said, I've been in this business. I watched the business destroy family, homes, friendships. I've been a part of like the friendships that were broken, and the home that got broken. So I know the good side of wrestling and the bad side. You know what I'm saying? I know it's like when we were talking about the stars. Use that term. When we were talking about the stars, I'm like, it's that, you know, when you at first it's like, okay, cool, but then when it starts getting to the point where you like, maybe I can, and then I came up with this own theory of my own because I watch it destroy a whole man's life. And when I mean his life, I mean his life. And I always say, never give the fan a fantasy. Never, ever, ever get with that fan or that groupie or whatever, because she will come to the show, swear up and down she a girl, she will bring her family, she will tell a promoter, well, my babe's wrestling tonight and I can get in for free. It don't work like that, ma. And I watched me and my man used to drive from Rochester to Bennington and do shows. We did shows out there for like a year, and they were making him the heavyweight champion. But he met some chick out there and figured he could have like another chick out there, and he ended up having a baby with that chick. And the night that he won the world championship, his wife and his other two kids showed up because she wanted to surprise him. She wanted to surprise that man when he won the world title. Now, I seen her, and he's in the ring, and he just won. And the baby that the other chick just had was probably like 2 or 3 weeks old at the time. And he says, I want to dedicate this match to my newborn son. And the wife is sitting there, and the girl is walking in and handing him the ring, and her family's in the ring, and his new family, and how they're going to get married. And everybody's standing up. Like, there's probably had to be like 800 or 900 people up in there. Everybody's standing up. So when everybody sit down, she's standing there clapping. And I'm looking like, I'm riding home alone because he ain't making it. I'm like, and he's looking at his wife and he's looking at me, and I'm like, that ain't my baby you holding, bro. I'm like,
it's like, save me, bro, save me.
He looking at me like, you know, come do one of those. Cause I ain't going front. I used to be, I was a platinum plus wingman. I made it to diamond status, but them days are long gone. But like, he looking at me, and I'm like, bro, there's nothing I can come up on the fly to go tell your wife right now. I can't tell her that whole baby is part of the goddamn show. I can't do that. I'm like, she gonna know I'm lying. And she looking at me, she like, why ain't you tell me? Tell you what? You trying to tell me you didn't know about that? I'm like, look, he married you, not me. Go discuss that with your man. Where you going? Warm up the car, grab me something to eat, and then I'm going to drive my black butt back home to my wife and tell her this story. And I'm like, this is why you got I'm like, this is why I hate it when you don't come to shows with me that are that far away. I'm like, because when I go do these shows, you get them calls saying, yo, I seen them with a girl. And I'm like, no, they did not come with me to shows. I'm like, I come by myself and I leave by myself. I've had a few whatevers. And so, you know, I learned from it. And I'm like, I'm just glad you and TJ got your head on straight. Like, let's go make this money. Let's go make memories. Yep. Let's go make matches, and let's go make money. The 3 M's. Okay, take that with you. Take it with you. Matches, memories, and money. That's all what wrestling is, and I love wrestling. And like I said, y'all got me ready to climb back in the ropes and be like, you know what? I go get this shot in my neck and my back right quick. I got a good 10 minutes left. Let me go get this cortisone shot right quick.
Work with me. We're drinking
one good match.
Probably for you only more points.
Man, like I said, man, like I was literally just watching your matches. I'm like, yo, this kid, I'm like, if you already getting into the MLWs, I'm like, it's only gonna be, you know, a moment before you not only just known in North Carolina, but then like you're doing like the New Yorks, the New Jerseys, the Pennsylvanias, the Watertowns, the Syracuses, all the states, and then you just said you just got back from your overseas thing. And I'm like, that's going, and you're only what, 24?
Yeah, I'm 24.
Bro, you ain't got nothing but time to perfect what you do and get better. That's all you got time for. Only thing I can tell you is I'm glad I did the good stuff and the bad stuff. So I could tell, I could tell you right now, only stars you need to look up at are the ones in the sky. because don't let something destroy you mentally or physically. Because I don't, like I said, I've seen it happen. I've been a part of how it happened, and I couldn't tell you not to be an alcoholic if I ain't never drank before. I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So I don't witnessed it. I don't done it. So it's like be LeBron. You know, you ain't never heard about LeBron being with no other woman. Be LeBron. That's the only thing I can say. You ain't never heard about Tracy McGrady doing it, but you heard about Kobe. We all know Kobe had to buy his wife a $4 million ring for a 10-minute set off. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real.
Rest in peace, Kobe.
Rest in peace, Black Mamba. I love you, but I'm a New York Knicks fan for life.
Yeah, but the wife still stayed though. Just saying.
She did.
You leave for a fourth?
She did.
You leave? Would you leave?
Yep.
I wouldn't have left. I mean, she could have left for half.
No, hell no, I wouldn't leave that. That's you dumb. That's like you're giving up the whole life-changing. That's like life-changing money.
And she's still rich to this day. So
yep,
she is.
But nah, I like you two young guys. I gotta make it a point because I got a DJ friend of mine that's out in Carolina, and Caprice Coma's out there, and I'm this summer I'm telling myself I'm gonna go see shows in other states, so I know exactly who I'm coming to see and where I'm gonna go, and I already know I got somebody in wherever state you at because I've probably been in that state like 8 times over and don't wrestle.
Yeah, pull up. We definitely know some cool stuff.
Like I said, I'm starting mine probably sometime. I'm going back to open mine up in June. It's going to be a school and a promotion. I think if you Google the school, which is Rising Stars Wrestling Academy LLC, me and my son are going to do this like Vince McMahon Shane thing where he runs the Rising Stars, which are for up and comers like yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is a chance to showcase the up and coming talent in the area and whatever homegrown talent that we may have. That's what Rising Stars Wrestling Academy is. And then of course you got like EPW, which is Elite Pro Wrestling, which was mine. And it's like that's sort of like the school is sort of like the NXT of WWE for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when they get good there, there's titles there, there's the world, and there's the tag. I'm contemplating on making a woman's one just because some of the women in upstate New York, there aren't that many. It's like 5. Like literally, there's like 5. It's like they all just go to shows together, and I'm like, y'all all wrestled each other like 3 billion times a week. How are y'all matches so good? Why? Because you just wrestled her 2 nights ago. So you just flip a coin to see who wins.
You say the word, you got somebody on your roster already.
That like I said, I'm definitely gonna be in touch, and I'm be like, look, I will bring y'all out this date. Y'all can chill here. We'll go eat here. I'm like, my son's a barber, so if you need an edge up, you know, throw you in the shop. You know, my daughter knows how to braid. She has a shop, but her shop's in Saturday.
Oh yeah, we in there. Yeah.
That's how that we in there.
Yeah, we in there.
I'm just saying. It's like I watch like before, like I said, I watch how the business is done. And I'm like, man, if I had like a barber or a chick that does hair, or if I had a seamstress, or if I knew chiropractors, I'm like, yo, my show would be built. So I'm like, my daughter's licensed in 2 states, my son's licensed in 4. I'm like, my ex-wife is a seamstress, and I'm like, thank God I got 3 sons and 5 daughters. I'm like, all y'all do something that can contribute to help your dad.
Yes.
I'm like, my one son is
tax write-off.
Thank you. Thank you. That because like my one son, him and his mom, they both work at like the Hilton Hotel. So it's like I can get a room. That ain't nothing. You know, I can get a room. You're the manager, he's the night curator. I can get a room. Like what? Book me for a weekend for $12, whatever. That's how much the room gonna cost me. I'm like, y'all gonna be in some high ass rooms though. Them rooms is tight as fuck. But like, I'm like I said, the son that does hair, I'm like, yo, anybody need an edge up? And I try to make sure like they get to the shows before anybody else. And I'm like, yo, if you need your hair done, you need an edge up, you want to look crispy, you know, go see my son. You don't have to pay him. He's just here to help. Blah blah blah. If you want to tip him. That's on you. Da 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 da. You know, I figure it's gonna be a family owned thing. So like, why not involve your family?
Right. Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't understand. Like all my brothers, like they always look at me. They're like, man, ain't no money in wrestling. I'm like, okay, then name a wrestler in the WWE that you make more than in a year. I'm like, you don't even make what the refs make. I'm like, you don't make what the cameraman make, the ref make, or the people that bring them their coffee. I'm like, you don't make that. What you had 50,000? That ain't even a bonus for them. Their bonus is started around 80. Plus, there's a I know y'all know who Colin Delaney is. Of course, y'all gotta know. Like, he got a company out here in Rochester called Ground Zero.
Yeah.
Y'all should check him out. Who is it? It's Colin and it's Cheech. I know y'all know who Cheech is. Used to be with the we have a Circle K for a minute, and then it was Cheech and Cloudy. It's like they got a lot of mainstays that y'all seen in like Ring of Honor and all that other stuff right out here in Rochester.
Word.
So there's always the only thing I don't like about Rochester is that there's like so many wrestling companies. It's like 5. And I'm like, why is there 5 companies within 4 blocks of each other? A lot of y'all all use the same building. And I know y'all probably had to pull those matches where, okay, you're wrestling at this company, your third match out, but you still got that other, because the other company wants to like prove that they can put on another show and outrank you or outdo the crowd or whatever. So you got to jump from match 3 then run across town to be match 7. Because like people, they be like, yo, and it happens out here a lot. I'm like, yo, wasn't y'all tag team champions in the other company? But this week you're defending your heavyweight title against your tag team partner. It doesn't make sense. Stop doing that. People out here don't get that. I'm like, that's why I put mine an hour away. No one in Auburn knows who you are. No one in Syracuse knows who you are. No one in Cortland knows who you are. Those people come out to see you. I do a show with you in Rochester, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, we just seen him last week," because it's so saturated out here, where everybody wanting to be the best. You got what? Well, you had NWA Upstate, which is now Upstate Pro Wrestling. Then you got what? You got Ground Zero. Then there's like 3 others. I'm like, Flower City. You got Flower City Wrestling. There's just so many out here. That's why when I open up mine, I'm like, I'm gonna go an hour away. This is like having a Denny Jones next to a Burger King, a McDonald's, and a Wendy's. After you work out, you don't know where to choose to eat. People don't get that.
That makes sense.
When is your next match? Not against each other, but like.
I'm wrestling this Saturday, up in North Carolina.
I think mine is on the 7th. Like